Okay, we're all in. You've sent that message, huh? Okay. All right. We'll wait for the guy making coffee. Don't rush. Don't relax. Take it easy. Okay. As I said, we've spoken about the LTE devices. You've got your connectivity to your site now that you've configured all of those things. We're going to start talking about what we're going to connect to the end of it. Okay. We're going to start off with this product, the iServe DEC solution. This is a new one that we've now brought out. It's a single cell solution with 3 handsets. These handsets here.
It's not in our notes, huh?
No, it's not in the notes, sorry. As I said, it's a new product, so we haven't actually catered anything on it as yet. Okay, has anyone configured any of the iServe DEC stuff? You'll have. Is it working?
What the iServe?
Yeah. I've been told something different, but anyway. We'll come back to that. Okay. This is a single cell solution. For the guys that have configured them before, we get the normal iServe bases. You'll remember it. It's a little rectangular device, little red, little light on it that either flicks red, green, depending on the status of the device. Yeah, it has to be green for it to be working. This is a single cell solution. So the box comes with 1 base station, 3 handsets in them. You can pass this around to have a look at it.
Is that the same handsets that we're using on?
Yes, the 8430s. Yeah, this is the 8430s.
The current handsets that we got, the ruggedized handsets, the 8630 and the 8430s, I think.
Yeah, 8430s.
They're all compatible with this base station. However, we sell the solution with these handsets.
Okay. It's, as I said, it's a bundle. 3 handsets with a single cell base station. Okay, now, as I said, for the guys that have configured this, the full DEC solution, the configuration very similar, simple and easy. We'll run through one now. If it's going to come with your cloud-based solution, it will be pre-configured.
Dylan is our iServe specialist on the configuration at the moment. So Dylan, thank you for that.
Okay, so Dylan will pre-configure them. And as I said earlier, you're welcome to drive here. He takes a beating quite well. Okay, for the demonstration of setting this up today, we are going to connect it to an ONSA site PABX. No, for today's purposes, we're going to connect it to our 7070 that's on the board there. We're going to show you how quick, easy, and simple this thing works. The single cell takes 2 repeaters on it. Remember, you cannot exceed, not 2. Is it 3 repeaters? Sorry, takes 3 repeaters on it. Okay, you cannot exceed that. You cannot put another base station on. It will take up to 20 handsets as well.
Can't add another base station.
Can't add another base station.
That's what you just said. You should
Okay.
be able to add another.
No. I got proof. We can rewind it. Okay, but anyway, so you can connect extenders onto it and 20 handsets. We can add up to 20 handsets. Yes, it comes with 3 in the box. We can expand.
And then the sequence are the same as the normal iServe.
The extenders. Yes. Yeah. 3. 3. Yeah, sorry, 3 repeaters.
The repeaters just need power.
Just need power. Okay? Right. Now, I'm getting to that now. Okay, the base station does not work on PoE. So you have to plug power into it, LAN cable into your switch, and we're up and running. That's as easy as the installation gets. All right? Yes?
Repeater.
No, repeater can't repeat
So the repeater has to connect back to the
to base station, yes. Okay. Oh, yes. 5 concurrent calls. Okay? Yes, we can go 20 handsets, but 5 concurrent calls only.
The 5 concurrent calls even in between the handsets.
Yes, because remember it has to go through the base. Okay. Also, if you guys have done the standard iServe decks, you'll know that if we go for G7 to 9, you have to add a module onto them. This one's got it built in. G7 to 9 is built in on it. Okay? Limits your cost as well on that. I'm going to plug this in now, and for the guys that have configured it, you're going to see it's exactly the same. 1 or 2 minor changes in the programming.
6 simultaneous calls.
5. Single cells. Oh, okay. Sorry. 6.
No, but narrowband is 5.
But once you go on the repeater,
Yeah, it's only 5.
on the 5. So your repeater is 3.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in and show you all. Okay, installation, as I said, straightforward. You're going to plug into power. You get one power lead that comes with it, so you're going to plug it into power. On the back, one RJ45 input there. Plug that in. I've luckily got a little hole here to just hang that up for now. This is not how you'll do it on site. I'm just improvising here, please. Okay. No, blocking the fan on a 7070 is a bad idea, guys.
So while you guys are, very good question.
I'm just going to leave it like
You
that.
guys need to see the light. If it's solid green, it's got a IP address.
Yes. Okay. Green light is on. We're in the right direction already. It means it's got a IP address from the DHCP server. On default, it's set on DHCP. We're going to log into it now. We'll show you if you need to change it to static, how to do that, and those type of things. Right. We've plugged it in. We've got our green light. We need to know what the IP is on that. Anyone have any ideas on it?
192.168.1.1.
No?
Yeah, remember, sorry, Dylan's question is, Dylan said the device is running on DHCP. So what is that DHCP range that we've got?
10 to 50.
10 to 50.
Okay, so it's got an address somewhere in there.
Yes.
Okay, are we agreed on that?
Go to the lease on the router.
Go to the links on the router. Yeah, we can go to the lease on the router and things like that. But I'm saying we're connecting this equipment. We're only working with this equipment now. So how do we get the IP address? Any ideas? How do you get it? Exactly. Menu star 47 star.
Is that on the handset?
Yes. And then it comes up with searching.
So the 47 represents, sorry guys. So
Menu.
star IP star. Because 47 is
Yeah.
IP. So it's menu star IP star.
Okay, and when you'll punch in the star 47 star, there is no acknowledgement on the handset. Just press it, and when you hit your last star, it will come up with searching on the screen. So do not get concerned when you are pushing buttons and nothing is happening. We had a tech that we freaked out with because of that. He kept on telling us, nothing is happening. He said, no, just keep quiet, press the buttons we're telling you to press, please. Right. Okay, it's come up there. It shows me the MAC address and the IP address. In this case, 192.168.1.17.
It's not the IP of the handset, the IP of the base.
It's the IP of the base. Yes.
Only the base will have an IP address, the handsets don't.
And the Mac will be the Mac of the base. I mean, the phone.
No, the MAC of the base. Tells me the MAC of the base. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, we have gone to the web page, which is 192.168.1.17. And that's what it comes up with, the main page. The home page, status page. Okay. So, what do we want to do first? Do we want to change the IP to a static? Yes or no? Why?
No,
Hmm? Okay. We prefer to put it on a static. Yes, we do. So, what do we do to get there? We go to network, firstly. Okay. As you can see, easy enough. DHCP static. We want it on static. It then says, what IP address do you want? What do you think we should put there?
Below our range.
Sorry?
Anything below the HCP range.
Below or above, not in our DHCP range.
No. No. 51.
Okay. Is our default gateway correct?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Okay. Anything else you guys think we need to change there? Yes. Someone said yes? No.
CP highlighted option there. Need it.
Do we need the DNS?
Unless you want phone.
Do we need it?
No.
No.
Why did you all say no?
You're going to the
Because
PABX.
the PABX has a static IP address. You're sending it to a URL.
We're not breaking out anywhere or anything. It's all local communications now.
So even if it's hosted or local, we don't do a DNS.
Okay. That's all we need there. So we're going to save and reboot.
It rebooted.
Did it reboot already? Okay. Sorry? Yes.
Firmware.
Yes.
Do we need to check firmware?
We're going to run through it.
We'll run through the
You are
firmware.
aware on how to do it.
Okay. Okay, so it is restarting. Okay. It's restarting, but remember now, it comes up with that page there. It says home. So if we push home, are we going to get to our device? Huh?
You need to change your IP.
Yes, we changed our IP to 51. That's still trying to reconnect to 17 now. So it's not going to reconnect. So let's go to 51. Okay, username and password, guys. Default, admin. No, it's not Samsung APN. Okay, so now we've got it set on our network. What do we need to do now? There's two more important things we need to do. Any ideas? We need to go add extensions.
What you first need to do is check the firmware that it's on the latest that you've got before you do that, because otherwise you have to reboot and do
Okay. The firmware is on the latest.
In this case, we do the firmware last.
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
You need to connect to your servers.
Sorry?
Give priority to G729.
The priority for the codecs comes in when we set up the server.
Your server.
I'll just say date and time.
Set up your server to connect to your PABX.
I would say set up the server first would be the best thing to do. So, do we know where the server is in this case? The PABX. And the IP address on the PABX is 192.168.1.10. Okay, so our registrar address will be our PABX. That server alias, you can call it whatever you want. It's a name. Okay. Outbound proxy. Any ideas, guys? Oh, sorry. The NAT. We disable the NAT. Okay. Right. Sorry. Outbound proxy. Any ideas?
Be your gateway.
No. Outbound proxy.
You can put it in, but you can put the PABX out.
Easiest is the PABX IP.
I just want to jump in here. Okay, so the ISO solution we sell mainly on the hosted solution. Okay, not when there's a PABX involved. But today's setup, we're doing it on a PABX. But with the hosted solution, the registrar address will be the client's name. So we have pre-configured a bunch of domain names on the hosted PABX. So for example, abcshoes.sem.com. whoever worked on the SCM before, you'll know what I'm talking about with the domain name. The outbound proxy in the hosted solution will be the PBX's public IP address. Argument's sake, 197.234.233 and the PBX IP address. We've got multiple PBXs out in the cloud that we use for setups. We've got about 7 that we use. So it can be any one of those 7 IPs, which we'll give to you if you need to reconfigure one yourself. So hosted solution registrar will be a domain name that we'll give to you, and the IP address we'll give to you. On an on-site solution, it will just be the IP address of the PBX and the registrar.
Okay, sorry. Outbound proxy. We said PBX IP, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's put the PBX IP in, Quentin.
Sorry?
Outbound proxies, PBX IP. Okay. Do we need to change any of these items here, guys? Anything else on that page?
Codec priority.
Codec priority.
Move G729 to the top,
Why?
because that's what it uses.
No, but it's got all those codecs available.
It starts at the top.
But why do we go to G729?
Why do we want 729 on top?
Because that's what everything else is using.
No, but what's it?
Why must it be
So
on the
everybody
base?
jumps off the bridge, you gotta jump as well.
And it's got a G729 boarding.
It has got a G729 board in it, but why do we have to use it? Yes, it's there.
So you can pick up that board first, dollar.
But what's the purpose, okay, what's the difference between 729 and 711?
Bandwidth.
Yes,
Right.
bandwidth.
So you want to use the smaller bandwidth or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Small bandwidth first, and then we work on
So-
that.
Are we leaving the other codecs in, or are we only going to run on 729?
I would take them out. If they're not in our system, it's pointless leaving them there because it's going to try and use it.
When you connect to a
And you use the
PBX,
system.
you leave them in.
Sorry?
When you connect to a PBX, you can leave them in.
No, you can leave them in.
On a local network.
We suggest leaving.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to leave them in. Okay? Including 726?
Yeah, leave it. It's
Okay.
not gonna get there.
I generally remove 726. But we can, okay, we can remove it.
But the others, the reason why we keep the others is, for example, our entire network, we prefer 729. However, you get other ISPs, argument's sake, ABC, I don't want to mention names,
They prefer
ABC.
711.
then they sending their call to us on 711. Now, if one device phones the other device, it's called user agent. So user agent 1 talks to user agent 2, then they want to communicate on a different codec. So we rather keep them in. So that it will negotiate on the codec that's available.
Language.
Yeah,
ULAW and ALAW.
yeah, ULO and ALO. Okay. Are you guys happy with everything else on that page? Yes.
But you can bring down that registration time as well. Slightly down.
5 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So every 5
You all
minutes-
do understand what the registration time is, eh? So this device, oh, sorry, that device is going to go back to the PABX every 5 minutes and say, I'm here, I haven't gone anywhere, don't worry. Yeah, are you still there? Okay. Right, so we're going to save that now. Okay. So now we are connected to the PABX. Is there anything else we need to do? Anything else we need to do?
Handsets.
We need to set up the extensions.
That, yeah.
Okay? So what numbers are we going to use for the extensions? And what details?
Extension 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 should work. 1, 2, and 3.
Now you need to go to.
No,
The PBX.
On the PBX,
create some extensions.
Yes, I think that would be a better idea. Let's go create some extensions on our PABX.
But it's not needed, it's a cordless phone.
Seriously, we're going to go there now. Good.
You guys are confused.
Well, the obviously says small letters at the front of the row.
Okay, so we've gone through this, how to log on to the PABX, everything yesterday. You guys should have a good idea on how to do that. We did not cover SIP extensions yesterday or SIP trunks because I said we would cover it today with the equipment we were doing. So, anyone know where we create a SIP extension on the PABX? 840.
842.
842. 840 is our IP extensions. 842 is our SIP extensions. So we're going to go to 842 first. Usually we would go check our licensing at this point to make sure we've got SIP extensions available.
Or go to the virtual cabinet if it's a small system.
Yeah, and check the virtual cabinet. But we did check our licensing yesterday when we were busy on the system, so we know we've got SIP extensions available to us. Okay, that is where you find your SIP extensions. It's a third-party phone. We've got 48 of them available to us on the system. Okay. Right, then 857. Virtual cabinet information. Does everybody understand virtual cabinet information? This is where you tell the system your virtual extensions, your virtual, as you can see, you got ITP, which is your IP extensions. You've got a hell of a lot of them. Virtual SLIs, there's a few. Virtual DLIs, there's a few. But the one we worried about is this one, SIP station. That generally is not on your virtual cabinet. I changed one yesterday when we were looking at something. I can't remember what it was. Therefore, it is there. But usually, that shows up as a wired ITP in that block. I changed that yesterday. So take into account, you will have to change that when you are setting up these things.
Blocks of 4 or 8?
Sorry?
Blocks of 4.
Blocks of 4. Okay? But to confirm, we go to 842. And as you can see, we converted one block. It's given us 4 extensions. I only want 3. Can we send one back, Quentin?
If you choose 2 blocks, you can have 8.
If you choose 2 blocks, you'll have 8.
Is there
Okay.
a preference on what you change?
Sorry?
Is there a preference on what to change? It just affects your user ID.
Well, if you go back here, you can see there's a lot of stuff, and only what's open in white blocks you can actually change. So you can't take that block to here. You can only put it in there. Okay? So you're going to have to look at what you've got configured on the system and change accordingly. Okay?
I was just saying to the guys that don't know, they shouldn't change how many they use.
Yeah, remember, if you've got IP extensions and things like that, rather start from the bottom because you configure your IPs from the top. Yeah.
Off topic, what do you use in virtual DLIs?
And SLI.
Now, SLI, I know what you use. What do you use in virtual DLI for?
Same thing I use the SLIs for. Forwarding ports and things like that, but other than that, I haven't used it for anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we've got that. We go to 842 again because we need to configure usernames and passwords and things like that. Okay. Guys, do not convert any more than what you need, especially on these third-party SIP devices. You'll all have heard about hackings and things like that. This is the easiest way to hack into the system. It's for somebody from the outside to create a SIP extension on your PABX. And I generally move away from the default usernames and passwords because it's default. Everyone knows it. Okay. So I change the passwords, I change the usernames. Extension numbers you can change as required. Okay. In this case, we'll just use, I don't like doing this, but just for this purposes, we'll use the extension number as the usernames. Okay. So the first username will be 2116. Password. As I said, stay away from the defaults. Everyone knows 1, 2, 3, 4.
I have to change it.
Okay, let's get difficult. 0, 0, 0, 0. We're using that only for these purposes. Do not use these passwords, please. Okay, so what did we use? 4 zeros. Okay.
Sorry, keep in mind, when we do
Sorry?
the setup on the hosted solution, it's on a private APN, so there's no access from the outside in. Okay. However, if you connect this equipment to the client's network, someone will come in from the client side, access our equipment, and try and make a call out. That's why we want our equipment away from the client's equipment.
Okay.
That's why the install that you've done, password's 4 zeros net, because we've got a private network. No one can access it from the outside.
Okay. We're going to configure all 4. Okay, sorry. Very important. If we move across to the right, use IP whitelist. Do we disable it? You're really looking for your client to get hacked, aren't you?
It's going to be on a local network.
It's going to be on the local network. I'll still enable it. Okay. We'll show you how to do a little bit of a shortcut in the whitelisting table so that you don't have to punch every address in manually. Okay, so we'll leave that enabled. Okay? If you disable this, there is no whitelist checking. It'll accept a connection from any IP. We'll leave it enabled and we'll show you in 875 how to enable the IP addresses that's connecting to the system. Okay, so did we configure 2117 and 2118? Okay. Or 2117 only you connected. Okay. Okay, we save that. Right. Let's go to 875. This is our whitelist, the item we were talking about on the end. Okay, phone. Okay, so phone IP whitelist. We know what range we're going to be coming from, right? To do just that cell there, we would whitelist 192.168.1.51 because that's the IP address there. Okay? But if you want to whitelist your whole entire range, your internal range, you can put 255 in there and it'll whitelist your entire local range on a /24 network. Okay? Do you all understand that? So if you're doing IP phones and you're going to have various, you can put 255 and as long as it's on your local LAN, it will connect. If you do not whitelist, it will actually come up on the phone with an IPP registration error. Okay, so we have now configured our extensions on the system. We have whitelisted it. There should be no issue why this phone shouldn't work. Am I correct?
No. You still got to assign that to the base station.
It's assigned.
So you've got to tell it that's part of it.
We have to set up the extensions on our iServe system at this point.
So it's 724, make sure your extension is in there.
In 724.
Yeah.
Now, if our extensions wasn't in 724, can we go back to the subphone information? There wouldn't be numbers here.
You can go there if you want to change the extension.
Yes. Okay, so if those were blank, you would have had to go to 724 to put them in, or if you wanted to change the extension numbers, same story, you go to
So do you
724.
do
and
the
do it.
virtual cabinet or the virtual card change? It auto adds it, doesn't it?
No,
No, then you have to go into
No.
724 to add it,
it doesn't.
your extension numbers.
Generally not, because when your system is initially switched on, it allocates to everything. So unless you've changed something in between,
There will be numbers, but not necessarily.
The numbers that you want, yes. Okay.
You gotta refresh the page when you get to virtual, 724.
If you didn't have it open, you wouldn't have to. If you had it open and you made a change, then you have to refresh. Okay. Right, so we're going to have to go back to our web interface on the iServe now. Okay. If you stay out too long, that's what happens. Okay, we know our password is admin. We're in there now. What do? We're going to extensions. Correct. Okay. We got no extensions at all, as you can see. So the obvious thing would be to add an extension. Anyone want to help us out with this?
211, what's the first one? 6.
Okay. That's what you said?
Just 211.
Okay. Authentication, oh sorry, you were configuring.
2116 for authentication username. What password did you give it? 0000.
Alan, sorry, at this point, if you
Display
went
name,
724,
iServe
you
2116.
change the extension number, then you've got to use the new extension number for authentication.
No, remember, we used the extension number as our authentication code. You don't necessarily have to do that.
You don't put anything in there.
Okay.
Blank.
That's all you did.
You don't put a pin in there.
Is that all we have to do?
That's all I'm going to do.
Okay. Remember, you can configure more than one server on this thing. But we've only configured one in this case. So it automatically comes in there. All right. Save that. Are we going to configure the other two as well? Anyone want to help us with one of the other ones?
You can actually name the handset. Apart from naming the
Okay.
handset,
Sorry?
your display name,
Mm-hmm.
you can set it up here, it will show on your handset.
Yes, you can set up the display name. Okay, he's using the extension number as the display name, but remember, you can put the user's name in there, whatever you want. Okay? That will come up on the screen. Once we register, you will see it.
So the extension has been changed to 105.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use 105 on the base at all.
You can put 105 under the extension number, but your authentication,
Yeah, that's your user ID.
yeah, your user ID.
Yeah, but do we have to put an extension number? Is there any extension? I found a little bit of discrepancy.
No, it will work. It will work.
We will leave the extension blank.
Okay, so there's all our 3 extensions configured now. So now we should be working. Why not?
You have to register.
We have to register the handset. So you can register one by one if you want, or you can tick all 3 and say start registration. Okay,
But you need to go into your handset and go.
right. So now the base is saying, I'm ready to register. From your handset, menu button, you've got that little colorful circle there. That's your connectivity.
On the single cell, they're a bit different, but that's how you would do it on a normal base. If on the single cell, we need to go into the handset
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
feature.
Okay, that's your extensions. That's how we do it on the normal base station. The actual first time I connected this, I also had a problem with it. We have to go into handsets, add a handset. Okay,
We don't do that entire ad.
On the other one, you got registration and SIP is separate.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah, it's
At the bottom is different one.
yeah. So now you have to go into the extension tab, and you have to actually create handsets.
So when you add a handset, as you saw, just add a handset, save. Don't do any configuration.
Mm.
IPEI numbers are all X.
Fs, because no handset is connected as yet. Okay? So now we can click all 3 and say register handset.
The first part is register.
Okay, so as I said, menu, go to the little colorful circle there. It says connectivity. You press OK, and you press OK on register. Access code to register these to the base station is 4 zeros. Now take into account. Yeah, okay. Now take into account, it's not the same 4 zeros we set up with the SIP extension. It's totally different. Okay. So 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go OK. It says registering on the phone.
Just do it again.
Okay, we can, what number are you,
No, it didn't register.
what number are you choosing?
Ah, it doesn't. It allocates from there.
No, it won't register just yet, but the handset should say registration 0.
Yeah, that one says registration 0.
Yeah, okay. I think I just pushed mine incorrectly. It says registering now. Okay, so 2 of them have come up. Okay, that's the 3rd one up. Okay, so all of them are now registered.
To the base.
Yeah, to the base. Okay? So now this is talking to that. We need it now to talk to the PABX. Okay. Okay, did you see what he did there now? He went into extensions, clicked it all again, and said start SIP registration. Now from the base station, it's now registering the extensions on to the PABX. Searching, okay. I got 2117, so I'm pity. What are you? Okay, so iServe is 2116. So if I dial 2116,
If you press the green button twice, it goes into speaker mode.
okay, ended call.
So this is how things happen inside.
401 unregistered. It's 217. Acknowledge SIP from 217. Did you dial 217? I'm on 2117.
Yeah, Johnny
I
dialed.
I dialed 2117.
No, you dialed 217. You said, yeah.
Okay, I'm dialing 2116.
So Johnny dialed 217.
It's me.
But dial 2117.
One man.
As you can see, the screen I got open here is used for troubleshooting.
Does not exist anywhere. So let's check on our PABX why it does not exist. There is why it doesn't exist.
But it should still be.
It's a 4-digit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it should actually still have been there. Yeah, it's 4 digits.
Try it again.
Why do you have
Right,
to
it's
put
got to
it
say
in?
it first. Yeah.
Why do you have to put it in there?
No, you don't have to. I'm just
We're just troubleshooting at the moment.
troubleshooting.
Okay, so it's still not going through. Let me try to phone from there to a base station and see. No, I'm getting an opposite hang up.
Okay, the base station of Rochester.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not the whitelisting. Okay.
Yes?
No.
Just switch off Samsung and put it back on.
Because it's even showing registered. Mm.
See if it's registered in the PABX.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it PABX.
Let's go check at
Check the PABX if you're registered.
720, sorry, 842.
Status.
Yeah, it's registered.
Let's try again. You rebooted the engine now.
It was a bit too quick. It's rebooting. Okay, it's up again. No. Okay, sorry, we're just rebooting the base to have a look. Can't even phone.
You get the stock for the Freedom installs. Everything will be pre-configured as you mentioned, but also pre-tested. Okay, so what we do in our office, we set up the LTE routers, connect all the phones, and we are able to make a call via that link. So that when you get the stuff, we know plug and play and it must work. We don't talk about you, Sosh. We just had a problem with them the other day, that's all. With the stock that you got, so.
Okay, it's still not registering. Good.
Is there Samsung?
We should find
Yeah,
Dylan.
user unknown.
Dylan,
Maybe he knows.
Refresh.
tweet that for us.
Refresh there. No, it's not even coming through now. Are you making an outside call?
Yeah, just reboot.
It's rebooted.
Change the log email. That's why you never do a live test.
Always.
In a training session because it never works.
Yeah. Okay, I promise it's not this difficult, guys.
Make a call.
No. I'm waiting for the sub to come up. No, it still hasn't registered on the site. Go have a look at the
Is
registration.
the handset on the base on the same version?
Yeah.
Okay, this came up now. Bit. What's it saying? Huh?
But shouldn't you see the IDEI as well there? Go back to.
Interval too brief.
It's not that timer you changed from 1800 to 300.
No.
Does not exist anywhere. That's the problem we're getting there. It's registering to the right address.
Yeah, I think, okay, we have the idea. I don't want us to hammer too long on this.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but I think it's probably something on the PABX because we played around with the PABX quite a lot yesterday. But generally, this should have registered 100% and we would have had no problem with it. Trust me, I set up one on Friday last week. It took me a couple minutes. It was up and running. And that was on an SEMC, which is much more complicated than on a normal Office server. Okay. But from a pricing perspective and things like that, these bundle packs are brilliant. And for the guys that have installed it, the range on these things are incredible and they work. I mean, I've got one site here that has got, 10 IP phones, and I think they've got about 25 iServes working there. It's a massive factory. They make appliances, fridges, stoves, chest freezers, that type of thing. And that's quite a harsh environment. And it works perfectly.
Does it also identify CLI?
CLI will pass through. So if your PABX is getting CLI, you'll get the CLI on you. Okay. Any questions on them?
Transformers is the stop.
No, it comes up on the screen. It becomes one of those two buttons there when you...
Oh, it's a transformer.
Yeah. Okay. All your normal functionality is available on these, straight from your PABX. Okay. Any questions? Oh, okay. We're just going to go through the firmware quickly, and yeah, that'll be that on this one.
On the hosted solution, my group pickup, can you set it up or do we have done the
No, if it's so your question is group pickup and that on the hosted solution. On these are still an extension on the PABX, so it will be configured. Okay. It was never there before. The new firmware doesn't have a country. Yeah. Okay, so so I can't remember when Dallin asked who has done the ISOs before. Okay. So most of you guys. Oh, I thought you were going to drive the mouse.
Oh, sorry.
So we're going to download the firmware from our Meatech website where all the firmware and that is stored. If you...
Have you got it on you or was it on?
It's on here. Just open up Explorer. Yeah, right click. File Explorer. At the bottom, File Explorer. On the bottom left, C drive, Windows C. Okay, so in here we have a file called FWU path, capital F, capital P. We open that and we have the different models there. Those different models are the different handsets, the different base stations, and the repeater. So we know that the firmware itself is sitting under C drive, FWU path. So you can minimize that for us. On the base station, we go to firmware update. Sorry, just go back to home status. Yeah. No. On the base itself, home status. Next to it. Okay. Over here is the firmware version 3.55, what they call branch 25. We're going to update that. Okay. So if you go under extensions, so now the base is 3.55. We go to extensions. We go to handsets. And we'll see the firmware of the handsets. 355.25. And the 8430, that is the model number of the handset. So then you know what model that extension is. Okay, so the handset and the base, the firmware always has to match. If it doesn't match, you're going to have problems. So now we can go to firmware update. Your firmware update server address will be the PC that you're going to be doing that's got the firmware on. So in our case, Dylan's going to check what our IP address is. Try 99. Should be it, yeah. Okay. Do you guys know how to check the IP address on your PC? I'm hoping so. Okay. Open up CMD so you can press the Windows button and the R key together. Dylan, did you get that?
Yeah, sorry.
Otherwise, open up the start menu and you punch in CMD. You type in ipconfig, and it will tell you there what your IP address is. Okay. In our case, it's 1.99. Firmware path, we have capital F, WU, lowercase, capital P, and lowercase ATH. Capital P. Okay. Then update base stations. We have required firmware. We put 380. No, just 380. And we say branch, we leave as is, and we say start and save update. Okay. However, I'll let Alan run through this so that you guys can see. We need to set up the PC so that the base can go and fetch the firmware from the PC. Sorry, we need to set up the PC to allow it. So we can go to, I have another application on our PC called Pumpkin. We're not calling any of you guys pumpkins. The application is called Pumpkin. Once Pumpkin is open, we can go to options. The address on top, we just pointed to C drive. And we click OK. And we say give all, take all files. There are 2 tick boxes there. And we click on OK there. If you have antivirus on your PC, disable it. Will you? Yeah, I got left. Yeah, just pause. Bottom one. 4 hours is good, yeah. Okay. Just go back to Pumpkin first. Bottom right corner, survey is running. That has to be ticked when the firmware is being done. Once the firmware has been done, untick it, and we're also going to do changes on the, we're going to change this back to 0. Because every time this base tries to look for firmware, it's using resources on the base, and we don't want to use unnecessary resources. So now Pumpkin is running, we can upgrade the base. Now we can click on Start, Save, Update, and we click on OK on the window that pops up. As soon as we click OK and we open up Pumpkin, we'll see, hopefully, if everything is right, we'll see the information coming in there.
Do you not think Pumpkin need to put it pointed to that direction?
No. Because under firmware update, it's already looking at FWU path. And
You automatically put the C card on
Yeah.
the in front.
just, sorry, Dylan, go to my firewall, my antivirus again. Choose allow all traffic. There where you were, yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay, just there we go.
So it was a firewall.
Okay, so always check your firewall, your antivirus, and as you can see, that acknowledgement tab, the numbers are running quite fast. So the base station is downloading the firmware now from the PC. Okay, once the base station has been done, then we need to do the handsets. The handsets take a bit longer to do, but we'll get to that. So as soon as the base has got it, it will reboot. Then we go to the extension. So let's just wait for it to reboot. Have a look at the LED on the base station now. It's going crazy there. Colors will change, green, red, orange, and after a while it will come up solid again. Okay. So when the firmware is busy importing into the device, try and not do anything yet. You won't have access to it, but just leave it, let it carry on and do its thing. Do not unplug the power or the network or anything on that device while it's doing firmware. Okay, so leave it as is until it's done. It takes a few minutes. Always make sure, if you have your handset, wherever one, thank you. When you take your handset, you can dial menu *47* to find your IP, but once it finds the IP address of the base, you can select that particular device and it will tell you what is the firmware of the base as well as the firmware on the handset. Then you can scroll down and you can have a look. Also, when you do menu star IP star, so 47 star, it will tell you, it will give you the dB readings between the handset and the base. Okay. So if a client says they're walking to this corner, speech quality starts deteriorating, then you know that's a dead spot there. Tell the client, don't walk there. Move the base a bit closer. Put the base in the middle of the office. So don't put the base inside the server room in the basement and you're using the phones 2 floors up. Okay. It needs to be in the premises of where the handsets are. The handsets get signal to the base via a DEC signal, and then from the base to the PABX it will be IP. Once it's up, we can click on home status.
It's changed his IP address. 192.168.0 to 84.
No, that's the base next door.
Still waiting.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have, for example, multiple bases, not in this case, but if you have multiple bases, it will pick up other bases in the vicinity. Okay. As you can see, it's still going crazy there. If you have repeaters, you can have a maximum of 3 repeaters on a single cell base like this. Then you register the repeater to the base. So you'll have base, repeater, repeater, repeater. It will just repeat the signal for you. When you do menu star IP star, another option is menu. If you guys want to write it down, menu star server star. So the feature is menu star 7378423 star. Did you guys get that number? Menu star 7378423 star. Okay. That opens up the service menu of the handset. So it's like a admin menu. There you have master reset to reset this handset. You have a site survey mode. So the site survey mode, you enable that when you have repeaters on the network, on the base. So every repeater will have a RPN number. So you can see the signal between this handset, the base, and the 3 repeaters there. Okay, then you know where your signal is coming from.
We need to put that on even if we don't want it to give us access.
No, the site survey mode will only be for installation purposes and troubleshooting.
Diagnostics,
Yeah,
but not for application.
no. And then if you go under the same menu, you have status, and it will also give you the status menu of the handset as well. The firmware version, the battery, and so forth as well. Once the base has been upgraded, you go to home status and you see it's 380 branch 0009. Okay. Now we need to do the firmware on the handset. Very important. We go to firmware update. Sorry, we just wait for the handsets to register first. Mine is saying searching. Dylan, can you just go to extensions for us? Just register them there again. Send in another request on the extension. Yeah. So we're just sending another request to let the handsets register. It should re-register automatically. As soon as the base boots up, it will register. That's the preferred way of how it should work. But for some reason, I think it's something on the PABX that it's just not allowing it. Okay. But if you have a bundle installed in the field, if you switch off the handset and you reboot the base and you switch it back on, it will register again. It's nearly immediate that it registers. Okay. Just go to handset for us. Yeah, it's flashing orange because the handsets aren't registered. Oh, did you restart it again? Oh. Okay, just register the handsets again. If you can just register your handset there for us. Just click on the handsets again for us to refresh the tab. On the, yeah, there. Okay, and then if we, sorry, handsets. Okay. So just press menu on your handset for now. Go to connectivity, say deregister. Enter 4 zeros, it deletes the registration. Talon, if you can just send another register handset request, and we just re-register them again. So we deleted the registration, just create a new registration, and let's see that it comes up again. Sorry? What's going on? What is it, yeah? Yeah?
Between 3 to 5 minutes to register.
As in? Listen, with these installed it done last week. Took about 3 to say 5 minutes to re-register again. Did you reboot the base as well?
No, I was about to do that now.
Force rebooted, yeah. Okay, we just want to do a force reboot. See what happens after this. Yeah, so the difference between a normal reboot and a forced reboot is if you click on reboot and there's active calls on here, the base will wait for all active calls to be completed, then only it reboots. No, it will still allow new calls. Yeah. So it will wait for all calls to be, yeah. Force reboot, I don't care what you do, I'm rebooting. That's what forced reboot is.
Well, it does that also when you do your firmware upgrade.
Sorry?
It does that when you do your firmware upgrade as well.
Yeah. So when you do your firmware upgrade, it will do the software and that, and it will wait for all active calls, and then it will reboot.
That's black.
Out of experience, these type of customers are going to reboot it. They won't be happy.
But they tell me
I think everyone here, between all of us here, Eugene is the one
your lawyer.
that's got like nearly the most, between Eugene and Chris, the one with the most sites installed with the iServes. So
Yeah, tell your customer, this one gonna reboot the stuff. If you don't, then there will be consequences.
Okay.
Harsh words or, I don't know.
the iServe solution is a very, very great solution for clients that's mobile inside the office. So give it to the department manager or so, because he has to walk around from desk to desk and that. And very good phones. You can also connect a earphone jack into here. I've tested it. For example, take your Samsung earphones. It's got that little button on it. You can even answer a call with that button. So connect your earphones in here. When the phone rings, press the button, and your speech is there. I'm not. No, this one doesn't come with a belt clip. The bigger ones, yes.
Can you each dial with me? But also need the IPEI handsets.
No, but the handset must still register. So if we go to extension, handsets, we must still get the details. I know where they are there. Sorry, Dallin. Thank you, Chris. Go to extensions again. Dallin?
Yeah.
Extensions. Go to 21116. Sorry, this is the difference between the single cell and the multi one. So click on the extension number itself. And now we have to tie it to an extension. I forgot about this part. Sorry, guys. Now we go and select what handset. So you can take out the batteries of the handset. There's a little sticker there that's got the IPEI number. Otherwise, go into the status of the menu and you can have a look. Otherwise, we just choose the like 1, 1, 2, 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm just gonna do
Select it and then we say save. Thank you, Chris. Dylan, why didn't you tell me?
Okay, who was 2116?
So one of the answers should register shortly, whoever has that extension. Okay, now we can see this 21116 is tied to that number. So now we go to number 2, handset number 2 tied to extension number 2117. Do that with all 3, then only we can do firmware. Okay.
But won't it work now as well?
No, it's not registered yet. You see the state is blank. Dylan, there is an external mouse. To make it easier. So when you get the iServes in a bundle, all what you're going to do is preferably put the base in the center of the office where it's going to be used. Run a network cable from the base to the switch, and you give the base station power. Okay. So don't mount it in the middle of the ceiling because not everybody's got plugs like us in the middle of the ceiling. Okay. No, there's no PoE on the base. It's power only. It's got a 2-pin adapter for the power. Okay. There's only one slot for the RJ45 to go in, so don't plug a RJ11 in there. It's not going to work. Sorry? For the base, yes.
5 volts.
It's got a 2-pin adapter. I just need to find where this one is. This one. Oh, sorry?
So the customer has to take power wherever they put this base.
Yeah, wherever the base is going to be installed, that is where you will be installing the power. The customer won't run a power cord for you, unless the customer is very kind. He'll say, no, it's fine, he'll get his electrician to put a power plug there for you.
Four bases, why can't you just use a normal base?
You remember, if you have 4 of these solutions, you're not going to have handover between them because it's a single cell solution, one base. You can't add another base to this one where you have what your normal iServe installs.
Basically, same
This
product
is-
as the N5.
Sorry?
Basically, same product as the N5 gigaset.
Yeah, I don't know the gigaset, so I can't comment on that.
See, the other guys use with POE.
Did you do the last one now? It's just saying registering. Click on handsets. Oh, sorry, extensions. Reboot it. Yes. Yeah, the base just has we have some latency on it, so we just rebooted it now just to see what it does. So latency meaning when we click somewhere, the web page takes a bit long to refresh. So we're just having a look what's happening there. Yeah. No. The handsets are already registered. So on the extension, just select them and we start sub-reg
Sorry, what are y'all's exit numbers?
registering.
It's saying registering.
So just on the extensions, do a start sub-reg. Because the handsets are already registered, otherwise we wouldn't have had these numbers. So the handsets are registered to the base, it's just the extensions aren't registered to the PABX.
What's the film with the PIBX?
I have no idea.
Normally they'll tell me to upgrade the PIBX.
Yeah, the phone I want to reach.
Take it to 501. That's what they tell me when they phone me. It normally solves the problem, I must say.
Talon, that part is right.
No, I just wanted to register mine because I deregistered my phone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know which one is my phone, but
No, but the handset is, yeah. So that's right.
deregistered.
No, but what's it, correct? Come on. So your is 2D8A. There you. So your handset is still here, but the extension is saying deregistered.
The phone is saying deregistered. So now I'm can actually try registering it now.
But under handset, go under.
Then the ticket all and say start registration.
No. Just hold on. Let's do this. We're going to just do it the long way around. Okay. Okay, look, the base has a static IP. Yeah, let's just connect directly to the base for now. once the firmware is correct on all three, you go back to the firmware tab and you change the firmware version to 0. Then the handsets are done. What you can also do on the handset, go to menu, settings, scroll down to status. It will retrieve the status. The first option is the base, so it will give you information of the base. Then you scroll down further until it says handset status, and then it will tell you the version of the firmware version of the handset. Okay, so this will take a while. I would suggest we leave this running for a few minutes. Okay, this is when we connected on a, in this case what we've done on a local PABX. On the hosted solution for the Freedom, the setup is similar. The only difference is the server tab. So server alias, we'll have, for example, hosted SCM. The registrar will be the client's domain name that we've created on the SCM. The outbound proxy will be the IP address of the SCM, the cloud SCM. The rest of the config is exactly the same. Then we can, sorry, and NAT, thank you. The NAT we disable going on the hosted solution. Okay. Everything else is the same. If you go to time on the left-hand side, so the handsets will get its time from the base. We can say time PC, so meaning it will get the time from the PC. If the base reboots, it's not going to find the date and time again. So then the date and time on the handsets will be wrong. Okay. If it's connected on a public network, you can put in a public RTP server, NTP server address. For example, Internet Solutions has a public NTP address that we can use, ntp.is.co.za. However, then the base station will have to have a DNS IP address. Okay.
So on a SCM, you can point to the system as well.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I've done it to the system.
Okay. So on the hosted solution, the NTP, so if we go to time again, the time server will be the same server address as what your server tab has. For example, 197.234.233.173.174, whichever IP it is. The SCM's IP address. Allow broadcast, we disable. Refresh time, we say 1 hour. So every hour it will look at the NTP server for the correct date and time. And then daylight saving, we don't use daylight saving time. Time zone, sorry, set time zone by country, untick that, and we say time zone is +2. Otherwise it will also be incorrect. So that we disable. Yeah, Dallin, 2 to the top, NTP time zone by country. And then our time zone is +2. However, just make sure when the NTP registers on the SCM to get the date and time, if it shows 2 hours ahead, just make that +0. Change it to 0.
Come up with an hour's difference sometimes.
Yeah. So it can be an hour ahead or an hour below. You just adjust the date and time according to that value there. Refresh time, we change it to an hour instead of 24 hours. And then save and reboot, and then it will, of course, do it. However, we don't do save and reboot now because the handsets are busy getting its firmware. So if we go back to the firmware tab,
Before you go to allow broadcast NTP,
yeah, we don't need to set that, but
Do you want firmware?
yeah, we can leave it as is. Yeah, yeah, firmware, handsets. Sorry, extensions, handsets. I want
See
the progress of the firmware. As we can see, they're on 33% now. Okay. There's a central directory that you can upload onto the base stations as well. So have a text document, name, comma, and the number. Okay. So that means every handset has the same address book. Okay. You cannot export the address book. You can only upload an address book. So if you've done one in January for the client and the client wants to update it, then you have to redo the address book for the client. You can use Notepad, name, comma, number. Otherwise use Excel, a CSV file, and it's separated in columns. So first column is a name, second column is a number. If you have name, number, number, every number you can have three, or every name can have three numbers. Okay. So when you go into your address book, into your central directory, you find the name, then you can press the left or right key and it will scroll through the different numbers for that particular name. Okay. Then the rest is, if we go under repeaters, if you have repeaters installed on site, you can say add repeater. There's a whole procedure, actually like maybe 5-step procedure. You say add repeater, you can give it a name. Take signal sync mode is manual because you're going to assign them manually to the base. Okay. Then you can have a maximum of 3 repeaters on this one base. Okay. Every repeater will have a RPN number. So RPN 00 will be the base itself. RPN 1, 2, and 3 will be your repeaters. Okay. So when you on the handset, you go menu star server star, site survey mode. It will give you on top a header there having the RPN numbers and the DB signals to every RPN that it picks up. If you, there's no multi-cell here because it's a single cell. Okay. Any questions on the iServe? They're extremely easy to do.
Sorry, we had a bit of a glitch today, but usually they are.
Yeah. But now you saw we had a problem. Stuff didn't want to work. Someone is phoning someone. Okay. So
You can phone 2100, switchboard over.
okay. So in our case, to rectify our problem that we had now, we just defaulted the base, did a boot up again, and we just reconfigured. And as you saw, everything came up the first time. Okay. So once the firmware is done, then answer into the cradle. You'll see there's a LED flashing on the side of the handset. Okay. It will start going crazy. Of course, do not insert the handset into the cradle when the firmware is done if the power plug has not been inserted. Okay. Because this is useless just like this. The power plug has to be on.
Wants to make sure that there's
Yeah.
enough power for the uplift to happen.
Okay. Anything else, Stalin, on your side, on the iServe?
No, that's it.
Okay. iServe, easy. Put the base preferably in the center of the room. Do not install it in the basement and the client uses the equipment upstairs. You're not going to get signal. If it's an open office like this, put it in the middle of the office if possible. Otherwise, if you do have to install it somewhere close to the wall, preferably in the center of the office, but by the wall where the plugs are. Okay. For those of you that's hungry, the food is here. So I would suggest we can maybe take a break, have lunch, while this thing is doing its firmware. After lunch, then we'll insert the handsets into the cradles so that you can have a look what the status on the screen does. Okay. Thanks, guys. For example, if there's a trunk issue, meaning you're phoning a certain number, you can't get through to a number, or any problems on the line side, we'll do first line support. If we can't resolve it, then we'll escalate it back to voice and data. So the Freedom connectivity is on voice and data's network, but Mere Technical does frontline support, and if needed, escalate it to voice and data. Okay. We have a strong agreement that we have a timeline on all our faults that we escalate with voice and data. If we don't get feedback, Andre stands up from his office. Andre, I'm sure you guys have met yesterday.
Not yesterday, it was here this morning.
Okay, but yeah, you didn't. Okay, so Andre is our technical manager on the MIA technical side at MIA. So if we don't have an answer, we go to him and we tell him, okay, we've got problem X, Y, and Z, and he goes to them and he goes and sorts it out. Normally, by the time he's on his way back to our side of the office, because it's the same office, it's different doors, by the time he gets in by our side, he tells us the problem has been resolved, because he'll stand there until it's done. Okay, so he doesn't take nonsense. So just so that you guys know, any escalations are normally fairly quick. Yeah, the escalation is definitely escalated. Okay, is the microphone on? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so just to recap, you guys understand the PABX side? All happy with that? The LTE solution, Billion, Howie, Microtech. The Howie I'll show you guys, but that's not a problem. So the failover solution, where to mount the external antennas, where to mount the internal LTE, and so forth. You guys understand and know where to do that. If you do not know, please raise your hand now. Otherwise, we're going to assume.
Can I say lower output for me?
Which one?
So by Zytel, we may not set you the DHCP plan.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's going to be part of the next steps now, because those are quick things to do. I just wanted to cover the things that. So you guys know about the LTE solution, how to do it, how to install it, how not to install it. Okay. And the IP phones, who has installed the IP phone before, connected it onto a PABX? Okay, so most of you. Okay. Of course, when the phone boots up, holding the star key, follow the easy install. On the hosted solution, when it asks you for a user ID and password, you can make the user ID and password 1 digit. It doesn't matter. Okay, because we authenticate the IP phones to the hosted solution on the MAC address. So if the phone boots up and it says mismatch MAC address, or it says provisioning fail, just give us a call and we'll confirm the MAC address at the bottom. Normally, so far it happened once where the MAC address was wrong, from a O to a 0. So it's just a little finger fault. But other than that, we haven't had a case where the MAC address was incorrect.
That was Dylan, huh?
No, it was actually one of my faults. So, however, when we do set everything up, everything gets booted up here in our office. We make sure that every phone comes up and the extension name, if there's a name, gets presented, and we make a call. Okay. So the IP phone gets pre-tested. However, if you guys need to reconfigure it on site, the phone will go into DHCP. There's no VLANs configured on the phone because we have a closed network. However, if you do get the case where you have to install on the client's network, it's the client's responsibility to set up VLANs, and it's your responsibility to set up the VLANs on this side if you need to tag your ports or so. Okay. Do not get involved on the client's VLAN or on the client's network. You will burn your fingers. Okay. Never get involved on the client's network. Rather, ask us exactly what needs to be done. We'll tell you exactly okay, we can't tell you exactly what they're going to need to do, but we'll tell you this is what our requirements are. The client will need to do that. If they don't know how to do it on their switches, they need to get an expert on their switches to come do it on their own cost. Okay. If the client says, but the solution is a problem, remove it from their network, put it on a closed network, and prove to them that it's not the solution, it's not your network, it is their network where the problem is. If you ever do get into an instance where it's on the client's network and there's problems, before you even troubleshoot, remove it from their network and make sure it's not your side before you point fingers. Okay. I don't believe in pointing fingers until you have the actual fact in your hand to say where the problem is. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. So when we install an IP phone, we'll be taking a LAN cable from the IP phone and insert it in at the back of the audio codes on the LAN port, and we'll connect that back to the switch. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Good question. Okay. That is the wrong setup. Making sure that you guys are actually concentrating on what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. The IP phone will need PoE, so it will go into the switch itself. However, if you don't have enough ports, you let us know, because we have to then give you another switch. Of course, the client and the sales guy, they'll need to sort it out, but we'll provide another switch and it will go into there. There won't be a case where you're going to need a power adapter for the IP phones because we're providing PoE switches. Okay. There is no reason why you'll be using a power adapter, put it that way. Unless the sales guy doesn't want to pay for a PoE switch and he says, no, just put a normal switch in and add an adapter. Okay. So all the equipment, coming back to the board, yeah. All the equipment will be plugged into the switch itself. Okay. So the IP phones, these two are currently registered to our hosted solution via the Vodacom APN, which is actually up and functional. I'll be able to dial from here. And I have speech and so forth. Okay. I'll be able to make an outbound call, inbound call on that solution. Just these two phones connecting via here, and it's working. IP phones connecting into the switch, the audio codes, the WAN port. Only the WAN gets connected to the switch. The LAN port, local area network, is used for configuration only. Okay. So you'll plug your laptop in here to configure this device. The LAN port provides DHCP. The WAN port receives DHCP. Okay. So the audio codes will get an IP address from the router board. Your laptop, when connecting into the LAN, will get an IP address from the audio codes. Okay. The default IP on the audio codes is 192.168.2.1. Okay. Admin and the password is s@msung. Okay. And no APN. So just s@msung because it's not a LTE device. This is in conjunction with the LTE, so that's why it's got an APN at the end. Okay. Your PABX, if you have a PABX on site, goes into the switch. If you have an access point, that will go into the switch as well, because the access point has it gets booted with power. PoE, sorry. It's got LAN points at the bottom. I think it's 4 or 5. Sorry, 4. The reason for that is this is what they called a hotel access point. So that's what you install into a hotel room. And the LAN points will be, for an example, one to the TV, if it's a smart TV in the hotel, one to a IP phone, and one to a wall jack for the client to plug his laptop in. Okay, that's why it's got LAN points at the bottom. Okay. You will be using the LAN point at the back of the device. It's got a screw in here now, so I'm not able to take it out. But at the back of the device, the cable comes in, so you'll have to drill a hole in the wall. Hopefully it's what they call, I think it's Rhino board. So you'll make a hole through there and bring your cable through there. If it's a cement wall and you need to mount that, you'll need to make a bracket where the cable has at least some play, and you'll get a plate where you mount the thing on, the AP on. Okay, a mounting bracket. Thank you. Do not use a glue gun, because this device does get hot, and then the glue will just melt all over again. Industrial glue will also not work, even if you use 2 glue sticks.
So it will make a difference if you mounted like a 45-degree angle. Do the top and then just put a space at the bottom.
Okay, those are one of the questions that Alan said, if we do ask stupid questions, we'll tell you it was a stupid question and move on. Okay. Preferably mount this on the wall.
Is okay, each of this.
I'm going to move on. Preferably mounted on the wall. What we've done before is the guys just take a piece of wooden block, just cut a little groove into it so that the cable can be in there and mount that onto the wall. Okay, and the mounting bracket onto the wooden block. That's basically the connection side of it. Everything goes into the switch. If it's not PoE, you're welcome to use the ports on the Microtech if you have a RB750 on site for the failover. Okay.
Can we just log into the Zyzo?
Yeah, we're
Just to
going to.
activate all ports.
Yeah.
for
The next things that we're going to be doing is audio codes, the switch, and the DVR. Okay. So the first one, the easiest one we're going to do is the Zyxel switch. Once again, you guys are able to log into the any router that's on site that is providing the DHCP. It can be the RB750, it can be the Billion, it can be the Howie, or any device giving the DHCP. Go into the lease address or the lease tab and see what device is getting what IP address. So in our case, we're going to log into the switch. I'm assuming the switch is 1.16, looking at the MAC address. So all what?
Zon as well.
Yes, just wanted to, and then go to Zon. So okay, there I'm logged into the switch just by looking at the lease tab on the DHCP. However, there is an application which I would suggest that you download called Zon. It is Zyxel One Networks Utility. That's what Zon stands for. Open up that application. When it boots up, or when the application opens up, it does a discovery on the network. So any Zyxel switch it finds on the network gets listed on here. Okay. It only does a discovery, the Winbox as well as the Zon, through your LAN, not on the Wi-Fi. Okay. So connect your LAN to the switch and it does a discovery and it finds the switch for you. You can go and program a name for the switch, a location. So if you have multiple switches throughout the company, you can give each switch a name. For example, the company name and location of admin, sales, technical, HR, and so forth. So you know where every switch is. Once you find the switch, we're going to click on the switch. We're going to select it, and we're going to choose the Web GUI interface icon. It's going to open up default admin, password 1234. Okay. We try to make it very secure for you guys, so no one will guess 1234. Then we go under settings or configuration, and the first step that we need to do is change the IP address of the switch. The reason is the RB750 or any router that we install on the network, whatever the gateway is, we make it 192.168.1.1. The switch's default IP is 1.1. Okay, so that's why we just log into the switch, change it to DHCP, apply, it will update the configuration, you log back in, top right corner is a save button, and you click on save. Then the switch LAN side has been configured. Second option that you need to do is to enable all 8 ports for PoE. You're going to go to configuration, port, PoE mode, you change it to consumption. By default, it will be classification, meaning only 4 ports. The first 4 devices connected will have PoE. Change it to consumption, apply, save configuration. Now all 8 has been enabled for PoE. Then the switch is done. So if you have a switch and only 4 ports are working, don't think the switch is faulty. Refer back to this and you can sort it out. Okay. There is other functions on the switch that it can do. However, we don't use any of that functionality. Okay. For example, this is a managed switch. That's why we are able to log into it. We can even set up port mirroring on this switch. So if there's a problem on site and we would like to run a trace on site, we are able to do it with this switch. Okay. For those that has ever troubleshooted SIP on a network, the easiest, the best, and the only method to troubleshoot it is via Wireshark traces, port mirroring. Okay. You cannot troubleshoot a SIP fault with your tone and bud. That won't work. Okay. Sorry? Silicon has worked for them in the past, but not for us. Sorry? It's still working. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's 1,000 k's away. You must remember. It's still getting there.
So remember, it takes a while for drive. So that's why we're 1,000 k's away from the button. So as soon as we get that, then it's right. So the client can't complain about it.
Okay. I just want to show you how it looks like. So this is a Huawei router that you'll be getting. Okay. Here's the device here. It does not boot with PoE. So don't expect it to boot without a power adapter itself. Okay. The question was asked before. That's why I'm mentioning it. Okay. At the back of the device, just a little cover that we pull off. The SIM card will be in here, inserted for you. Okay. Do not take the SIM card out and install it into your phone. No. Here is a little bracket that you can take off, a clip. This is where your external aerials will be mounted. Okay. For an example, for those that looked at me doing that, please excuse me. I got 2 children.
That's why we know you well first, because after that it stops.
Okay. You're going to be mounting both. Don't only mount one. Okay. There's a possibility that you will be using the aerials that come with the unit. Otherwise, we'll supply you with other aerials. Okay, depending on the signal survey that we have a look at before the time. Okay. So you'll just mount the aerials on there just by screwing them on there and let them face up. Do not let them face down or wherever. Always face up. When you do move it around, just tighten it again. Okay, otherwise it's going to fall over. Okay. On top, it's got a power switch that of course needs to be on. The LEDs will shine there. It's got 4 LAN points which you are able to use as well for connection. The USB slot, do not insert your flash drive in there because it's going to do nothing. The FXS port, don't connect anything there because we don't configure the SIP on this device itself. Okay. There's a reset button there that you can hold in and it will default the device. Sorry?
All the ports is LAN ports. Or the one
All 4 of the yellow ones are LAN ports, which you can use if you run out of space on a switch, which shouldn't be the case because we'll supply you with enough.
The gigabit PoE, isn't it?
No, they're not. Sorry?
Is there a WAN port?
No, there's no WAN, it's only LAN. Okay.
The black one's got a WAN port.
Yeah, I haven't worked on the black one, so I can't comment on that. Yeah.
No, because you can't give me.
Okay. I'm just going to open up a slide which I've done before, so the layout is going to look different than this. This one hasn't been included in the manuals, but it's extremely easy to do. Is it there?
Last 3 pages.
You go, sure. Sorry, I sat here until Saturday morning, 4 o'clock creating manual, so I can't remember what's in there and what's not. Okay, well then, if it's there, then I should have it here. Okay, yeah. Number 10. Okay. Okay. So going through the basic setup, 192.168.8.1 is a default IP. So when the unit is defaulted, it will give out DHCP. So just make your PC obtain automatically on the IP. You'll get an IP, you can log in, default, admin. Once you've logged in, it will request you to change the password. Once again, it's an LTE device, so we're going to change the password to s@msungapn. Okay. We're going to change the password and we're going to follow through on the quick setup. This router is extremely easy to configure. You can do it within 5 minutes just by following through this. Of course, the username and password for the APN, that will be given by us. Just give us a phone call, ask us what the details are, and we'll tell you exactly what the usernames and password are. The profile name will depend on the SIM card that you have. If you would like to confirm if it's Vodacom or Telkom, just remove this cover. You don't even have to remove the SIM card. You'll see the color of the SIM card. Blue is Telkom and red is Vodacom. Okay. So, yeah, it's red on the one side, white on the other side. So it's red and white, depending on how you look at it. Okay. So your APN profile name will be, for Telkom, it will be MIA APN. For Vodacom, it will be VDVO APN. Okay. Your authentication type will be CHAP on both of the networks. Okay. If that is not correct, the device won't sign into the network correctly, and you'll get a random IP address. So once you get a random IP address, we won't be able to do anything with that router. It has to sign into our network so that you can get the correct IP and you can actually use the APN service. Okay. The DHCP on the, if you only have one of these on site, then DHCP on this unit will be enabled. If you have two on site, DHCP will be disabled. Okay, because then DHCP will come from the RB750. Okay. So this presentation just shows that we remove the DHCP on the router, as well as if you have two, one of them will be 192.168.1.1, 1.2, which will be Vodacom, 1.3 will be Telkom, and 1.1 will be the RB750, which will be your gateway. Okay. So there they just tell you how to enable the DHCP. Of course, if it's not needed, we leave it disabled. The Wi-Fi. Will we be using the Wi-Fi module on the router? No. We won't be doing it unless we ask you up front, please use this as an access point for the mobile solution, which shouldn't be the case, but if it comes to that, then you'll use the Wi-Fi. Otherwise, the Wi-Fi will be disabled on these routers. The client will try and connect to it, or the IT guy will actually try and connect to it, and he will go and search inappropriate websites. Well, try, but the SIM card is voice only. There's no data on there. Okay. So we disable the Wi-Fi. On the firewall, we enable firewall is ticked, so this option here must be unticked. Disable WAN port ping, so that we are able to ping the IP address of the APN. Okay. So the second option must be unticked. So there where it says on top, disable WAN ping, so if it's ticked, you can't ping the WAN port. If it's not ticked, you are able to, so then we disable it. It's like I tell you yellow and you understand blue type of thing. You see it's confusing already. Once that is up, what you can do, under settings, you have another tab called system. Under the system tab, you'll have a tab that says device information. Once you click on device information, it will give you the IP address of the APN. For Telkom, you guys are more than welcome to write it down. The Telkom IP range is 10.13.xxx, so it can be 10.13 and whatever. For Vodacom, it is 10.132.xxxx. Okay. If you set up an APN, can be any LTE router. If you have a Vodacom 10.132. So no matter what LTE router you set up, if it's a Vodacom SIM card and your device registers and it doesn't have a 10.132 IP address, it means it didn't sign in. Username and password is incorrect, or possibly your authentication type is not correct. Okay, so you can just give us a call, we'll confirm the details and reboot the device. It will hopefully sign back in again correctly this time. Troubleshooting. Of course, if you installed your device, you're going to need to do a ping test. Take a screenshot of that, include it into your job card. If you do mount this with the external aerials, you're going to be taking pictures of all the work that you've done. Run a ping, screenshot it. You can do a trace route, screenshot that as well. Okay. You can do a trace route on the MikroTik as well. So on the MikroTik, where you go tools ping, you'll see another option that says tools trace route. You shouldn't have more than, argument say, 6 or 7 ops going directly to our core. If you start seeing all this random information, so it will start giving you names and that, then we know it's breaking out on the internet, then there's something wrong there. Okay. Then we must have a look what's going on. Okay. If you do the install today, connection is 100%, everything is working. Tomorrow the client phones you and says, listen, my speech quality is poor. Calls are breaking, calls are dropping. What we've learned is it's not the hardware, it's not the phones, it's not the PABX in the cloud, it is signal related. Okay. So all what you then need to do is realign the aerials and try and get a better signal again. Because today when you do the install, overcast, tomorrow it's clear sunny skies, and your signal can be better tomorrow again. Okay. So most of the faults that we've been having so far are all signal related. Dalen has gone, they've driven to a site, 3 times, where the client is experiencing call problems and so forth. They actually realigned the LTE router and the client confirmed everything is working again, much better than what it was. Okay, so it all comes down to signal. Because that is the only connection between the client and our core, is the signal. Okay. There's a case, or not a case, there can be cases. It's a very populated area. Everybody in the area has got LTE, everybody connecting to one tower. The tower gets overpopulated, the tower can't cater, argument's sake, 1,000 connections at one given time, so then it starts dropping certain connections. It's very possible that they can drop your connection and the next guy has a connection, so it all comes down to the tower. If the tower gets overpopulated, then they'll switch off the LTE and everybody falls back over to 3G. Something like that. Okay. And yeah, sorry. That's the highway router for you guys. As you saw, maybe about 20 clicks or so, put in username, password, and it's done. There is additional setting on the highway router. I want to see if we...
I have a screenshot of that. Dylan, why didn't you include it? Okay. Under security, we have NAT. I think it's NAT. And there's an option that says ALG. Just NAT. It's got two options there. The one is cyclone or clone, and the second one is symmetric. We choose NAT as symmetric. Okay. So that's not part of the slide, so if you guys just want to make a note in your material. Under security, if I'm not So once the firmware has been done and the LED's gone all crazy, it will take you back to the login screen. To confirm the firmware, I would just like to show you. I'm going to do one. I'll not do the entire process. But it will tell me what's the current firmware and what is the new firmware. So even with the file name, I can see it's version 4.4.4. I just know it's an additional 4. Okay, it's busy uploading the file, and there you can see the current firmware and the new version. That's a way for you to see. Okay. Otherwise, what you can also do under system monitoring, on one of the tabs, it will tell you the firmware version itself as well. Okay. Sorry. System monitoring advanced about, system monitoring and then about. You'll see it there. Okay. So there's a firmware over there, and you can see the release date of that firmware as well. Any questions on the audio codes? What can you use the audio codes to connect with? What will it be used for? Fax and a cordless phone. Conference phone. Yeah, analog conference phone, yeah. Sorry, you mentioned another one?
I said analog phone.
Analog phone. Can you connect a speed point to it? Okay. Yeah. The only thing is, with the audio codes, you have to dial 0 for a line. So when you do connect a speed point to it, because the speed point normally connects directly on an analog line itself. So if you connect the speed point to the audio codes, you must just get hold of the speed point guys, and they can prefix a 0 for you. Okay. I've done it with ABSA before. You just phone their card facilities, and the technician is actually helpful for you to take it to. Okay. Are you able to connect 2 fax machines to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If the client has 3 analog devices, what would you do with the third one? Sorry, this is a very, very stupid question, but I have to ask.
Plain tenant.
Sorry?
Plain tenant to one of the devices.
Okay.
That's one way to solve the problem.
The best way is tell the client to phone the sales guy to order another audio codes. Okay.
Salesman.
Okay. Because we don't want to, we rather do the installation correct than doing all these lap and plug stories to make it work. Eh?
No, that thing's been running for years.
No. We rather get another device and we connect that device on that separate port. Okay. It's better that way. It looks a lot neater than jumping 2 devices onto one port. Brian?
Really?
Okay. Okay, so we've gone through the Huawei device. The MikroTiks you guys understand. The OfficeServe you guys have done. The Zyxel switch for the DHCP and the PoE ports. We got the audio codes that we've just covered now. I'm going to do the next one is the cloud recorder. So with the hosted solution, we have the cloud recorder. There is nothing that you have to do on site. Okay, you install the equipment, a login detail will be sent to the client if we of course have the correct email address, because I'm not going to send the details to the receptionist. So we send it through to the company owner, and we'll have a predefined username and password for him to log in with. Once he has logged in, he is able to change the password himself. Once he has logged in, That's the URL that he'll be receiving. Once he logs in, username and password will be presented. And that is what he will see on his side. It's extremely easy. It's a voice logger. It doesn't do anything else but record voices. Phone calls. Sorry?
Let's see, so how much space are you allocating per client?
If I can recall correctly, I believe our storage is 12 months. So after 12 months, we wipe the recording, and it wipes the oldest recording first. Okay. The client is, however, able to download all these calls that he would like. The state, if it's green like this, it means it's been recorded and it's playable for the client. So he'll select a call that he wants, click on the play button, and he can listen to the call. Of course, this is encrypted voice recording as long as it's on the server. If the client downloads the call onto a flash drive, for example, then it decrypts the file onto the flash. However, the original file is still on the server, still encrypted.
Basically, if you got something that needs to go to court, the client can get.
We are able to give them the encrypted file. Okay. But if the client downloads the file onto a flash drive, of course, any voice recorder that's out there will decrypt the file for you so that you are able to play it wherever you need to. For example, in your car, because you want to listen to your conversation the whole day. Yeah. If you want to send it to someone, the recording will be decrypted. While it's on the server, the original file stays there. It's encrypted, and it is feasible in court. Okay. The call ID, every call will, of course, have its own call ID. The start time of the call, the duration of the call, the telephone number, which will be, for example, the client's number that they dialed out with, which will be their CLI number or so, or their VoIP number, and the number that they dialed to. If the extension has a name configured onto it, so this is for the hosted solution, then the extension name will be present. If they want to download the call, select the line, click on the share icon, select download, and it downloads it locally onto his machine. The original file stays on the system. After 12 months and it reaches to that call, it will be overwritten. Okay. There's nothing really to it on the cloud recorder. It's extremely easy because that's what the voice recorder is. It just records your voice. You're not going to do anything else with it. You're not going to mix your own songs with different recordings together. Okay. Then the other option is the Cloud TMS. I'm going to log into ours. I don't think you guys have the user manual for the Cloud TMS, do you?
No, we do.
Oh, you do. It's like a 20-page document. That particular recording, you are welcome to give it, that particular document, you can give to your client because it's a user manual. Just want to have a look here. Yeah. This manual, I'm not going to go through it with you guys. You are more than welcome to go through it yourself. I just want to get to it. Okay, so once you've logged in, this is what it will look like. The fields that are mandatory are extensions, email address, email group, report schedules, and create reports. The rest doesn't have to be filled in. Okay. So once an extension has made calls and there's activity on that extension, it will auto-generate an extension number for you. Okay. However, the extension name will be unknown extension. The client will log in, highlight unknown extension, fill in the new name. This document explains to you exactly how to do it, what every tab will look like. For example, I'm just going to take adding an email address, what the email addresses are used for, and so forth. Go through this document on your time. I'm going to show you here. tables, extensions, and if I take an unknown extension, now I want to edit it. All what I have to do is select the name, type in the new name at the bottom, say save. That's it. Okay, there's nothing other than the reporting on this. There's nothing, how can I say, excess or like really difficult or so. With the mobile solution, what I do suggest, once you downloaded the WebVoIP application, also look for an application called Cloud TMS. It's an application that you install onto the phone, and any records, for example, if you go to your phone, into your mobile phone now and you go to your call log, it will show you the call received, the duration, the call made and duration, SMS came in and so forth. That call log activity gets uploaded to this server. Not the contents of the SMS that was received, just the logging part of it. All their details will be sent to the server as well, and the client is able to do a TMS report on a mobile phone. Okay. So for example, you have 5 X-cover cell phones out in the field. The client wants to know what is that guy doing on his cell phone. Instead of going having a look at the Vodacom account every month or so forth, he can go and pull a report on this. Okay. Can I see the icon? Yeah, iServe Cloud application.
What's the delay in terms of call records coming through immediately?
Because of the call records being so small, I think it's every argument's sake, every minute it uploads it. It doesn't, for example, on the mobile phones, it will use any internet connection it has. Mobile data, the client's Wi-Fi, a hotspot in the area or so. As long as it has an internet connection, it will upload the data there. Okay. It's extremely, it's text document, text files that it sends. So text files are extremely small on data size. So the client doesn't have to worry about a 3 gig data bill on his cell phone contract. Okay. Following on this manual of the TMS, if I find it, sorry, they explain to you how to add the mobile extensions and so forth as well. Extremely easy to do. The client can also set up email scheduling themselves, weekly, daily, twice a day, monthly, and they can have multiple schedules running at the same time. Schedule for admin reports, HR, technical sales, and so forth. Okay. And have them email to different email addresses or to a group of emails. So you don't need to create a group email on your email server. You can create a group on here, just label the group and add all the relevant emails in there. Okay. You guys happy with that? It's extremely easy. The login details for the TMS, I have the username for the TMS, but I don't have the password for the TMS. Once I create the user for the TMS, a auto-generated email from the server gets sent to the client. The client will get a URL with a random password, instructing them to log in. Once they log in, they can go and change the password to whatever they want it to be. Okay. We do have access on the back end, for example, to this client's data if need be. So if, for example, the client phones you and you get the login details from them and we have to assist you with it, we can log in as well and configure it and help you, show you what to do or so. Okay. So login details will be sent to the client automatically once creation has been done. Any questions? Sorry, one. We've had a site, we installed the site the other day. The client was unable to access our website. Okay. it's there can be two sides to that story. Our firewall in our core, we allow certain IPs only, mainly South African IPs, and then if need be, certain carriers that's out there will allow their IPs. Okay. But in this case, the client's firewall was actually blocking them to access this. Okay, so if a client says they can't access the website, just ask them, can they test it through their mobile phone? Just on their mobile phone, search www.cloudtms.co.za. They can access it on their mobile phone, then you know it's not the server. It's connection from on-site. Okay. And what they need to do, the IT guy, of course, will need to be involved, run a trace route from the client's PC to the Cloud TMS, send us a screenshot of the trace route, and we can see where does the traffic stop, and we can have a look if it's on our firewall, is it in the internet, or where the problem is. Or maybe it doesn't even break out from the client site at all. So maybe it stops immediately at their firewall. Okay. So always have a look at that. The same for the voice recorder. If the client can't access it, let them send a trace route from their IT guy that will help them with, and we can have a look why can't they access it. Okay.
The customer forgets his password.
That's fine, or what they need to do is send us an email, you phone us, doesn't matter, and preferably we don't deal with the end client directly. For example, they'll phone you or they'll phone the sales guy that sold them the solution, but in whichever case, we'll get the request, we log in, go to that username, reset the password, a new email gets sent to that user. Okay.
So it doesn't have an option when you go in and your password is when you
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah. So we've covered the installation part of the bundles. You guys happy with that? The or the cloud TMS, the cloud recorder, all the hardware. So now there's this one more thing that we need to cover, and that is what we call the it's a eDev ECAS solution for on-site PABX for the TMS. On-site TMS or a on-site solution with the PABX does not have the cloud TMS. Okay. So that is where we'll install a TMS on-site and we'll get the data from the PABX that way. The voice recording for the on-site PABXs, the client won't have the same interface as what the hosted clients will have. They'll have a different interface because those calls are being recorded at the SIP server level itself. Okay. What we've done with the hosted solution is we have multiple SCMs in the cloud and we have multiple voice recorders in the cloud as well, which are monitoring those certain SCMs that we're doing. So that's why the hosted solution has a different cloud voice recorder, and the on-site has a different one because they don't connect to the hosted PABXs. Okay. So when the client requires access to the voice recording on the on-site PABX, then the sales guy will give us a call. We'll auto-generate the usernames and passwords for them, and then the client will have access.
The 12 months as well.
I believe so. On our solutions, we provide 12 months of recording.
The voice and data, I think 3.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. I think we can take just a 10-minute break. So let's start at 2:15. Then we do the on-site TMS. Dallin wants to tell us a joke after that, and then I think we're done. We can just ask questions and any concerns. I think before we take a break, I just want to explain to you guys quickly. There's some installs for a certain dealer that you'll be doing. Okay. That will require shelves like this. So with all our bundles that we do, we provide a 4U cabinet. for all the equipment to be installed. For an example, the audio codes. Let's say we provide you a cabinet and the audio codes and a bunch of IP phones for the hosted solution. But the client says he's got no analog devices to connect to. No fax machine, no cordless phones, analog cordless phones or anything like that. Whatever the client doesn't use, you put back into that cabinet. Make sure the power is connected, the lights are up, and you take a photo of that. And you send us a photo to say all the equipment is on site. Because a month down the line, the client is going to think, okay, I actually need a fax machine. So the equipment is on site already. He's already paid for it. It's part of the bundle. So the client needs to have it. You can't take it to your office, and when the client phones you, take it back to site. Leave it on site. Whatever the client doesn't use, leave it there. So everything will go into the cabinet. But now we have a dealer that is trying to save costs for the client. And they don't want to install a big cabinet for argument's sake 5 little devices. Okay. So what we're doing for them, we'll provide you 2 shelves like this. These shelves, I'm going to do it over here, will be mounted on the wall. We will provide you with the nail-ins for the, don't know the correct terminology, nearly like a YLT, but nailing anchors. We'll provide you with 4 per bracket, 4 per shelf. So we'll provide you with 2 boxes of that. For an example, company A, B, and C, those are our 3 installers. For each installer, we'll provide you with a 10mm drill bit as well, so that you don't have to use your own drill bit. However, if that drill bit gets lost, gets broken, after 5 years it doesn't work anymore, then you have to buy your own.
One per shelf level.
Okay. When you, I'm getting to that part.
Because then you need to provide a level as well.
No.
That's where the cooler comes in.
Okay.
You want on there beforehand.
Okay. So you'll mount it on the wall. Do not use eye level. Okay. Put an actual spirit level on here.
What did you say was mounted at eye level?
Okay. You'll mount it on the wall. Please don't mount it on the floor, like that much from the floor. At least somewhere where it won't be in the way if someone walks past and they kick it or anything. The first shelf will be for the equipment. For example, the audio codes, the RB750, the switch and so forth will be mounted on here, will be placed on here. We'll provide you with a packet of cable ties as well. The shelf does have holes through it, so just cable tie the equipment onto here so it doesn't slip off. Of course, the cables will come through the back on the wall, argument's sake, like with trunking like this. Just neaten up all the cables and so that nothing hangs and nothing can move around. When you do mount this, depending on your weight, you should be able to hang on this and not let it come off the wall. Alan? That's why we haven't given it to you to test. Okay.
Can you provide butterfly nuts for roll?
No.
So what does the guy do when he gets to a roll?
You can keep the nail-in anchors that we've given you, and you can go and buy butterfly nuts. And in a way, we give you nail-in anchors, you give us butterfly nuts. So you keep the nail-in anchors, you give us butterfly nuts. Sounds like a deal, eh? Okay. So mounted on the wall, equipment on top. The second one will be with a UPS that will be given to you. The only equipment that connects to the UPS is the telephony equipment. Do not connect a copier, a fax machine, the client switches, the client's equipment, anything of the client, you do not connect on there besides the equipment that we give you. Okay. Because the UPS that we put in, we cater enough power for our equipment, not for the additional equipment.
So
Okay.
only for the telecom stuff.
Only for the telecom stuff.
Cell phone charges.
Yeah. I'm sure we can make an exception for one.
Are we getting it 3.2 like with the UPS now?
At least this is recorded for that first one.
Because most of the all of these are showing with
Roll
made
and puts the UPS on the wall.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to have a look in stores about that, yeah. So on that side, I got a UPS. They told me test it. I tested it. I never looked at the actual plug or so. Okay, but that's the adapter from the UPS to your equipment. Oh, okay.
Because I presume you're going to be plugging it to your computer, so you
Oh,
can
okay.
really have the
Oh,
one
okay.
cord.
I believe we will be giving you these multi-plugs for the equipment because they got 4 3-pins and 4 2-pins. So what you can do is cut that cable on the one side and cut your male-female connector and join them, and this multi-plug will come from your UPS.
Die cables so adapter wat of maar wat 'n female aan die een kant het wat 2 plastic was.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you do join the cable like that, if there's need, please solder the cable and don't just use sellotape that was laying on the receptionist's table. Please solder it properly and cover it nicely.
So mag het join.
I wouldn't suggest that, but if
If you are joining,
do it properly.
safe join, please. In
Yeah.
other words,
Solder iron.
staggered cut, not all of them at the same point, so that even if the tape does break off of it,
Yeah.
they are staggered.
Yeah. But when you do join them, solder them. Don't just wrap them around, put insulation tape. Do it properly. Okay.
Don't join.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I think let's take a Taran from eDev. He's the one that does the eCast. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, he wasn't able to be here yesterday nor today. Okay. Yesterday he was busy with the roadshow in Bloemfontein. He came back late last night. Actually, I don't think he drinks. He hasn't been long enough in the field yet. And today he had some family things that he had to attend to. So what we can do is Google eDev systems. First one is the downloads eDev systems. This is just for information purposes for you guys. Once you've opened up, you'll get your questionnaire that you have to fill in. You select the products that you want, and it gives you access to the download manuals, the downloadable manuals, and as well as the software. Okay. Once you've downloaded the software, like I got the training manual, the user manual, and the software itself. So with the on-site PABX that you get, you'll be receiving a USB dongle with the device, with the PABX. Okay. That USB dongle is very important. If the client loses it, it gets stolen, it's lost, or whatever the case is, if it's no longer there, we need to replace that dongle, and those dongles cost money because the license key for the software is encrypted into that dongle. Instead of having a license key that you can punch in, the license key in this case is the actual dongle. Okay. So if you do install it on site, please tell the client.
Installed online.
No, we don't use those. So if you do install it at a site, please tell the client, make them aware that the dongle is at the back of the PC or wherever it is, and it must always be there. Okay. So don't install it at the receptionist's PC that she can unplug it every time she wants to charge her cell phone into that USB port. Okay. So preferably ask the client, can they provide you with a dedicated PC for the TMS? If possible, some clients are willing to do it, and the IT guys, most of them will suggest it as well. if you're using a server of the PC or of the client, ask them, do they have additional network point in that server? Okay. You don't want to install this as applications on a PC that they barely use, because if they don't switch on the PC, the records won't be spooled to the PC. So preferably use a server of the client, ask them, does the server have an additional network point? If it does, take a LAN cable from that network point into your switch. So you still, even though you're connecting to their server, but you're connecting directly to their server on that specific port. So their data won't interfere on our network at all. Okay. I've had it where clients, where the IT guy actually suggests, can I give you another network point on my server? And we do it that way. Okay, so the guys are more than willing to help, but in the case that the client is just a bit fussy and they say no, then ask them, do they have a dedicated PC for the TMS? Explain to them, once we connect our network to their network, there can be problems. And if they don't set up VLANs, so if the client doesn't have managed switches, they can't set up VLANs, there definitely will be problems if we combine data and voice on the same network. Okay. The training manual, you guys can go through that on your time. You can go through everything. They show you what the, for example, this is a device that they install on site. This is what the dongle will look like, DX10. Once you insert it, if I'm not mistaken, it will be a blue LED that will come up on the dongle, and then you know it's actually got power, it's working. Okay. Here they explain to you how to do the whole setup, where to click, so forth. When you install the dongle, it's going to ask you to update the drivers. Then you say, update my driver, but browse my PC for the updates. Do not update it via the internet. This manual shows you exactly where to go find the driver itself. Okay. There's a possibility, depending on the operating system of the PC, it might ask you to update it twice. So you just update the same procedure. Okay. We'll go through the entire setup together. Any questions that you have, and I'm not able to answer them, please send us a mail about the questions, and then we'll get the correct answers from Tyron, who wrote the program and support. His office does support on the product themselves as well. Okay. Yeah, they explain by updating the driver. So I'm just browsing through it. And that's what the application will look like once installed and it's receiving data. So you'll have a column for date and time, the extension number, if there's a name on the extension, the type of call. 0 is outbound, I is inbound, IT is inbound transfer. Place, for example, if it was an outbound call, what network did it go to? Cell C mobile, MTN mobile. Here's one that's gone to Kloof, so this is Durban 031. Vodacom mobile, so you can see get a feel of what it looks like. The number that's dialed, the duration, the cost of the call. Remember, the cost of the call that the client will see here is not the actual cost that they'll be getting on the Freedom stuff. Okay, with the Freedom bundles, there's different bundles, so we provide different minutes on all the bundles. We can provide 2,000 minutes. I think there's one for 2,000 minutes, 3,000 minutes, 5,000, 5,800. There's 9,000. I think there's 8,000. There's a whole bunch of minute bundles that they can get. Those minute bundles, the cost of them is not the cost that you'll see here. The costing that they work on here is calculated on the phone number where this client is situated at. For example, if they're in Durban, you set up this TMS and it's going to ask you what's the client's phone number. You're going to punch in the 031 and the rest of the number. So when this client phones Joburg, it will do a calculation on Telkom rates and give you a cost for that call. So the client will be able to, at the end of the month, pull a report and see, okay, if I kept my Telkom lines, it would have cost me 5,000 Rand for all these outbound calls. But now I'm paying X amount, I have 2,000 minutes free a month, which is including my hardware, my minutes and so forth, and the client is, argument's sake, paying, let's say, 2.5 or 3 grand a month. Okay. Don't keep me on the prices, I'm not a sales guy. Okay, I'm just using figures as an example. But the client will be able to see what he would have paid on Telkom compared to what he's getting with his solution that he has now. Okay. Ring, how long did it ring for an inbound call? So if a customer phones the client and says, I'm phoning your reception, it's been ringing for the last 30 seconds, they're not answering, the client can go and pull a report and see, okay, you called in at this date and time. How long did it actually ring before they answered? Okay, maybe the guy was just impatient and was actually ringing for 3 seconds instead of 30 seconds. Okay. Trunk line, of course, what trunk was used on the PABX, it will be stipulated there. Okay. There's other columns there, for example, departments, trunks, account codes and so forth. Whatever has been set up on the PABX, if there's PIN codes on the PABX, all that information will be presented there. However, with PIN codes and account codes on the, or authorized codes and account codes on the PABX, those codes can be visible here. It can be visible when doing a report, or you can disable it and it will present you with stars, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Because if receptionist has to pull these reports on a weekly basis, you don't want her to see everybody's PIN codes. Okay, so you can hide those details so that she can't see them. Okay. There's filters that you can go and set, which really shouldn't be needed to be set. However, when you do an install of the eDev system, you guys are welcome to give us a call. We'll assist up until where we are no longer able to assist. Then we'll ask you to phone eDev themselves. They got a support team, and those guys will take it from there. Okay. Most of the time, we'll do the frontline support on the systems. Otherwise, we'll escalate it back to them, and they'll assist further. Okay. Here's a menu structure. Depending on the tabs that you click, the buttons at the bottom changes. As you can see, the tab from the top to the bottom has changed because this one is on basic reports, this one is on edit. Okay. So if you want to edit an extension and department and so forth, you know you want to edit, and you just look what you want to edit. Okay. I'm not going to go through this entire manual with you guys. We're going to do a setup itself. Okay. So, eCost setup. So, when you do install it, right click and say run as administrator. If run as administrator is not there, holding the shift key, while holding it in, you right click on the icon and it will give you more options than what there previously was. Okay. Then we have run as administrator. Depending on the PC setup, you might need the administrator password. Speak to the IT guy. He'll provide it for you. Here we just click next. We accept the details. Next, next, next. Install, and it's finished. Okay. For those that never saw, all what you have to do is click next, next, accept, next, next, and it's done. Okay. On the desktop somewhere,
Left, where you are, next to HDE view.
thank you. We'll have this icon eCost there. We can open that. Now it's going to ask you to run through the wizard to set up the application. We're going to run through the wizard. National dialing code. What is the client's phone number? Even though the client has a VoIP number, so 010 and the following number, try and put the client's main number in there. For an example, let's take our prefix here at our office. I don't know if we can type. Yeah, 0111799. Okay, that is our prefix that we got here at our office. And it picks up it's in Crowthorne, which is correct. Telephone number 799-7720. For those that don't have our number, you got it now. Okay. Then we can say assign default, and we say yes. Anniversary period. So that dongle will be, in this case, I'm not sure if it's the same, it's going to be the same for the Freedom, but normally it's a 12-month license key. The application will alert eDev automatically, stating that this client ABC Shoes, their license key has been, it's going to expire. They'll sort out the license key. Okay. With our solution, I'm sure the 5 years will be for free. Okay. I can't confirm that at the moment, but that's how it normally does work. With the cloud TMS that we have for the hosted solutions, our normal setup is you pay your first year for the cloud TMS is for free. After the second year, you pay X amount per extension that's being logged. That's if you do a normal PABX sell and you do the cloud TMS. However, with the Freedom products, if you use the cloud TMS, the full 5-year period of the Freedom product, we give you the cloud TMS for free. Okay. So here we just click on done. The application will take a little while to load because it's building all the database according to your number now. Now it's ready to be configured. When we log in, I just need to remember the password. It's not. It's admin. Thank you, Eugene. So lowercase admin, and the lock sign has been removed. Now we can go to settings. Now this is once the application has been installed, then we insert the dongle, and the dongle will install. And when it asks for the updates, unfortunately I don't have a dongle yet to show you guys. And then you just follow through the normal standard installation of a device driver. You just follow through the steps and it will install the driver. It asks you to update, follow through on the manual, which is open somewhere. And they explain to you where to go and find the driver update. Okay. So the one will be a serial port, and the other one will be a USB port. The one will be a serial port itself, the other one will be a USB port that you have to update. Okay. So they tell you where to go and find the driver. So it will be under program files, ECAST, USB driver. Not USB driver, it will be under because you got a DX10 dongle. So let's go DX10 driver, because you got a DX10 dongle. Even though it's a USB dongle, it's labeled a DX10 dongle, and that is where you'll find your drivers. Okay. The place where it installs the file will be different to what the manual is, because in the setup of the manual, they most probably pointed it to program files. The only problem is if you install something under program files and not directly under root files, if you want to go and do changes in program files, you need Windows wants permissions for you to edit any files under program files. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that before. So if you do it under root directly, then you don't need to have any permissions to change files in there. Okay.
Actually, there is just putting C drive.
Just point it to C drive, like what mine is here, and it just says installs it under C drive, eCast. Okay. Dylan, do you want to take over here? Okay. So once the dongle has been inserted, there'll be a tab on top here picking up the dongle, and it will say DX10. Currently it's not in here because the dongle has been installed, so forth. Okay. Under basic, sorry, let's go to extensions. So under extension, this is where you're going to go and add your extensions. The extension number 2100, name, switchboard, last name, Mia Telecoms. We can go add a department, for example, to it, if there's departments, and extension budgeting, or select, deselect, and we click OK. Now that extension has been added. So when a call comes in, or and it goes to that extension, or a call has been made out, now that name will be presented there, and we know who that extension belongs to. Okay, that is when you refer back to the one slide where we saw the whole graph. Sort of just having extension numbers, you don't know who's at the number. You can now see the names of that number. Okay. Under company info, this is what you're going to be doing for the company. ABC Shoes, address. That's a street in Soweto. Don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Put in a fax number and the email of the client. Site details. You can go and put details in there. And once again, that is what we've followed through on the wizard. Click on save, click on close. Divisions, if there's multiple divisions in a company, add the divisions. Departments, of course we're going to have, for example, HR, we can have a department number, let's just make it 1. And they're going to be paying low rates. We're going to have number 2. This is going to be technical. They'll be paying high rates for their calls. So that is just basically if a client wants to set up, for example, a department that has to pay for their own calls. So every department has a budget, and if that department makes 20 calls a month, they pay for their own 20 phone calls that they've made. So now the boss can say, okay, but that department actually has to pay a bit higher rates because they're abusing the phones. So that's a type of thing that you can do. Okay. So there we have our two departments, for example. Extensions, the switchboard, I can go edit it, and I can say it now belongs under HR. Okay, now department is HR. Trunk lines, every PBX has trunk lines. So our sub-trunks are 835. Trunk number, we just label it sub. Tariff plan, we can have, argument's sake, VoIP, voice and data, or we can have Crowthorne, which is a default. Preferably set it to default so that the client can see what would he have paid on Telkom. Because when he gets a bill from us, he'll see what his actual cost on the calls were. Okay. If a client, this is a question that you can answer a client. If they tell you, okay, I bought a 2,000 minute bundle with this Freedom stuff. What happens if my 2,000 minutes are depleted? Do you guys know what the answer to that can be? Just want to take a sip while you guys are thinking about that.
62 cents or what it is.
They won't be able to phone out.
But
Your answer is correct. It's just the amount that is different. The last I heard is 1 cent per second. Yeah, so it's per second billing, and I think it's incremented at 1 cent per second. Okay, so it's pure per second billing. Okay, so it's not a matter of 2,000 minutes are depleted, you can't dial out, they've blocked your lines, you have insufficient funds in your account, stuff like that. Okay. There is, guys, we are able to do it as well, set a limit, but we don't do that. Okay, because if you cut a client's lines off, you might as well close his doors until the end of the month for him to get the new minutes. Okay. Don't know about you guys, but not being able to phone out is really crap. So for a company, it's even worse. So yeah, we can.
So the client will see it on his bill the next month that he went over, and
The,
it's constantly going over, then it can be reviewed in terms of its contract or whatever.
yeah, if it's feasible on the contract side, then they can increase the minutes or so. But of course, it's a sales guy's responsibility to make sure he doesn't undersell the minutes to the client. Okay, because when the client gets his invoice, it will state 2,000 free minutes, over usage 2,000 minutes, and it's costing him, argument's sake, 2,000 rand.
Is the billing cycle from the first?
The billing cycle is from the 20th to the 20th. That's a billing cycle on our side, and the client has to pay, I think, on the 25th or the 24th. He has to pay us. The client pays us directly. We set up a debit order with the client directly.
So if he doesn't use his minutes, does it get carried over?
No. He gets 2,000, argument's sake, 2,000 minutes per month. If he uses 1,000 minutes this month, next month, he doesn't have 3,000, he still has 2,000. Okay.
Okay, and is that minutes?
That's minutes. It's not rand value. So we give you 2,000 minutes
So if I made a phone call 3 seconds, that's just 3 seconds off.
of the 2,000 minutes.
So
Is international calls covered in those fees?
International calls are not included in the free minutes. The reason for that is, I don't know if you guys ever dealt with international calling before. Every country has their own tariff plan. Okay, if I phone, argument's sake, Zimbabwe, I have to pay them for me to phone them. Okay, if I phone Australia, argument's sake, they'll pay me to make a call to them. Something like that. Okay, phoning Australia will be 2 rand a minute. Phoning Zimbabwe will be 20 rand a minute. Okay, so if a client requires international, they need to send us an email on a company letterhead stating they want international to be opened. By default, it is barred. So with the company letterhead, authority from the boss, of course, then we'll open up international for them. And they'll be billed for those calls separately. It's not part of the minutes.
can you open it up just for specific carriers? Let's say
Yeah, the client will
the
say,
client is dealing with people in Botswana or Sub-Saharan
Yeah.
Africa, so please just open those ones.
yeah, the client will then need to send us a list of numbers, the prefixes, saying, I only deal with people in the following countries. These are the number prefixes that I deal with. These are the numbers I want to dial. All other numbers then we'll block. Okay. Okay. If a client has analog lines on site, for example, if they don't want to port their number and they want to keep their number on site, then we go and add those details in here as well.
Tariff plan.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 7. Just choose default. Okay. Jared has done a few installs. He's there in the corner. A few Freedom installs already. We actually had a chat outside now where a client ported their numbers. I just want to mention this before we all walk out, and it hasn't been mentioned. The CLI on the local on the on-site PBX does not change. We don't change anything on the CLI on the PBX. Okay, the CLI gets changed on our side, on our Porter One platform. Okay, So if a client ports a number, you don't have to log into the PABX and go and change the send CLI configuration. We do it on our side. The only thing that you have to make sure on the PABX is on your DID table. All the numbers that has been ported has to be listed on the DID table. If it hasn't been listed, I'm going to call into that number. It's not going to ring anyway. Okay.
You change the dummy 3 to 3, you won't go loud.
Yeah. We authenticate every outbound call on the CLI being sent out. Okay. There's the eCost is, it's a bit difficult for me to explain to you guys what it all can do and what all needs to be set up. What I would suggest is I can rather give you guys a breakdown of the eCost itself, create like a manual like what I've done for the other documents, and just tell you exactly what needs to be configured. But for an example, in the next, say, week, if you go in and do an install like this, give us a call. We have another guy in the office that does support on this as well. I personally don't do a lot of support on this. I'm more on this and the SCM side of it. Then he can just explain to you guys just in the beginning how to do this. Okay. Sorry, I feel really bad telling you guys that, but I hope you'll understand. The user manual and the training manual is also available on that site that you can just read through before you go do an install. Okay. I would rather concentrate on, because this isn't, it's vital information to know, but I would rather concentrate on the things that that will affect the client directly. Okay. For example, the PABX, we still need to go through the SIP side, how to configure the PABX. Okay. Are you guys fine and happy that we move on from the eCost?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information on the eCost, so I would prefer to get the correct information than give you the wrong information. Thank you.
But you should still be able to.
No, I shouldn't. No, it won't give me access there. No. That will give me access to, yeah. The DHCP on that, no. I've tried it before. Yeah. I've tried it before, didn't want to. So. Okay. In your document, you'll have the installation for the SIP side. Those are the MMCs that we'll be using. So just give me a second.
To be honest, we went through the LCR and everything yesterday.
Oh, okay. We'll just add 37 and yeah.
So we might be about 5 minutes. The guys started to, I can phone him and tell him to hold the plane. No, it's not.
But it's business class, isn't it? So it should be fine.
We'll set up okay.
Okay. Of course, you're going to need SIP and MJI licenses. LCR needs to be set up, which you guys have gone through yesterday. Did you do the modifier?
Yeah, discuss the modifier.
And it's going to be configured for the freedom or not?
Just
Okay.
tell them how the
Okay.
modifier is done.
So
But
the
we actually ran through your setup on this. So
is it? Oh, okay. And then modifiers is extremely important because if you don't send the number to us as a 27 and the rest of the number, we will deny the call. It will actually come back and tell you the call is not covered by your tariff plan because it's thinking it's a weird prefix trying to be dialed. Okay. Of course, your DID ringing for your ported numbers as well as your VoIP number needs to be in there. And then your MGI options and your SIP trunk in 603. If your MGI license states 3 MGIs, then in 603 and 615, your members needs to be 3 only. Okay. Don't have more members than what your license is. Okay. And then of course, SIP options where you set your DTMF. You guys know what the DTMF is used for? What does it do? Yeah. Okay. So I have to ask these questions. Okay. In this case, we just got a tutorial license running here, and that's why we got max license on all these things. Okay. LTR, we enable that. You guys gone through that. The send CLI will be the VoIP number. It has to be the VoIP number. If it's not the VoIP number, we will deny your call. You won't be able to dial out.
at the point where the customer's numbers are ported, we can then change it to the
Not on the PABX. We change it on our side, on the platform. So when the client does dial out, their ported number will be visible. Yeah. If your SIP trunk shows 4 licenses, you're only going to have 4 trunks in here. You're not going to have all 8. Okay. The same under 615, you're only going to have your first 4 members in all your columns. The bottom 4 members will be deleted. Okay. 710, of course, your routing digits. Dallin has explained to you the difference between the routing tables, I hope. Believe he did. So this is just an example what was done. 712 is your routing table, where we have 805 modifier 1. The next one will be 805 modifier 2, so route number 2. Number 3 will have different ones. Okay. There is more configuration needed than just this one MMC. For example, if you want to have your SIP lines, if all SIP lines are full or busy or so, or not available, meaning the trunk is down because the LTE connection has dropped for any reason or so, the client is able to automatically fail over to their on-site lines that they have. Okay. I just added this, but there is more configuration to this than just this one MMC. If you want to set this up, you guys are welcome to give us a call. We can explain to you. But it will also be covered in the T1 to T5 training that you all will be attending in the next year, I hope. Okay. 713, this is the modified digits itself. So when I dial a 082 number, I'm dialing 0 for a line, 082, because that is what the client will be dialing. But now what the system is going to do, it's going to delete the 0 of 082. Delete the 0 and insert 27. So I dial 0, the system will automatically insert 27 and the rest of the cell phone number. Because we can't ask the client to dial 0 for a line, 274 and the rest of the number. 2782, the client's going to get confused. If they have to dial a landline number, 2731 and so forth, they're not going to do that. Okay. So that's why we do it on the PABX side. On the hosted solution, it gets done there automatically as well. So that configuration I'm not going to show you guys because you don't deal with that at all. International, you're going to dial 0 for a line, 0, 0, and then a number. However, when the number gets to us, we don't want to see the 0, 0. We just want to see the prefix. For an example, England is 446 or something. If I dial them, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 446. Delete the 00. So the system will only send 446 to the subserver. Telkom mobile numbers, Telkom directory numbers, 102.1.7, 102.1.5, and so forth. We can't send the number as a 2.1 in front. So don't do anything with a digit. If I dial 0 for a line, 102.1.7, send the 102.1.7 as is. That's why we use a modified table of 3, but don't do anything to the call. Okay. That is very important. If that's not done, you won't be able to dial out. Okay. There's an explanation on top there for you as well to show you what happens. 714. The best is to have all three number formats in your DID. So I'm sure you've all seen, if someone phones you on your cell phone, the call shows +27 and the rest of the number. Okay. The PABX doesn't know what a plus is. Okay. The PABX sees a plus as a hash sign. So it's #27 and the number. You add 27 and the number and 010 as a number. If the client has ported their number, you're going to have #27 and the ported number. 27 and the ported number and 0 and the ported number. Okay. That has to be done, otherwise inbound will be a problem as well. Okay. So there's an example of what it will look like. Also make sure on your DID table, once you've added your numbers, scroll all the way to the right and enable call waiting on those DIDs. Okay, call waiting has to be enabled. We also have to configure the codecs on the PABXs. So the same as on the iSurf base, where we have to move 729 all the way to the top. So on the PABX, here is a drop down that we can select, and we just make sure it's 729A. Save and apply that. Okay. In 837, this is where you do the actual subtrunk registration. So those commands at the bottom, those fields, those are the only options that you'll be editing. Okay. Subserver enable, by default it will be disabled. So once you first do your configuration, then you go back and you say enable. There will be another option there just below that will say subserver or server available. That will be no until it registers, and then only it will say yes. Okay. If it doesn't say yes, you won't be able to dial in or out on the VoIP. Okay. Registrar address is the subserver. That is the subserver's IP address. That is the IP address that you guys can start learning out your head, because you'll be using that IP address to do pings, trace routes, and so forth when you do troubleshooting and installation on site. Okay. So when you install a router or so, that's the IP address that you'll be pinging to, and take a screenshot of the latency of that ping that you're going to be sending. Username, auth username, that's the same, that will be the VoIP number of the client. That will be the same VoIP number. The password will be sent to you guys. And then your timers at the bottom there are all in seconds. So 300 seconds is 5 minutes. Okay. Once again, we are looking into it to reduce that 5 minutes, but at this moment it is still a problem, because sending too many registration requests to a server, the server thinks it's someone's trying to hack it or so, hacking their account. So it starts denying the activity. Now? Why? Yes, you guys are like, yeah, really? You can leave at 4 and be there at 5. Okay, no, it's cool. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you. Speak to you guys Monday.
You haven't got an hour.
Okay. So this is what it will look like once it's been added. And then the proxy domain name and local domain name and so forth, we don't use that. It's just the registrar, the outbound, the sub details, your timers, save and apply. Okay.
You use DDIs, then you use that register for you.
No. The DDIs, we load them as aliases. We don't do register per user. Unless it depends, it will be site dependent. Yeah, it will be site dependent. Their platform and our platform is different. Although we're running off the same backbone, but we got a different portal to what they have, our configuration is different to what they have. Okay. Of course, your DTMF under 861 in-band RFC 2833. Okay. Then your SIP is done. Your PABX is set up. You guys are able to dial in, dial out. Okay. Remember, do not change the CLI on the PABX. We change the CLI on our side. If a client ports their numbers, most of the clients, so far it's been 99% of the clients that's got a Freedom installation, has ported their numbers. Okay. So when you do the install, find out what is all the phone numbers there on site. You'll be able to just plug a turn into the bud into the Chrono Blocks, dial 101,999 or something. Yeah. Just identify all the numbers and load them onto the DID table of the PBX. Do it then and then it's done. Don't have to worry about it, because as soon as a client gets the installation, normally within 2 days they port their number. Okay. There is instances where the install takes place today, tonight they port. Okay. So we don't wait on porting. If the installation is in and it's working, we port as soon as possible. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. Just for all of you, those that don't have our details, let me just increase the font there a bit. Come on. Okay. Our technical team are in the Freedom email group as well. So you can send to either one really, but in the Freedom one we have some salespeople included there as well. Okay. If it's something to do with the installation or so forth, send it to Freedom. But if you're on site and you've got a technical query, you can send it to us and we'll attend to it. Okay. If you phone our switchboard, ask for Mia Technical. Do not just ask for technical. We got about 6 say about 4 different technical departments here. They might put you through to OA, which is the office automation, and they won't know how to troubleshoot a SIP call or anything like that. The same if you got a copier thing. You guys are welcome to give us and me a technical call. We'll assist where we can. However, we're going to transfer you back to the OA division. So to make it easier for you, if you have a copier on site and you do an installation for the client, when you call in, ask for office automation, copier technical. Then you then you get through to the right department, you'll be assisted a lot quicker. Okay.
Where's your cell phone number?
There it is. It's a new Vodacom number.
Maar zit dit daar punt en ek sê nommer vir jou lees?
Eugene. Jy weet ek like jou, nee. Maar as jy my nommer gaan uitgee, gaan ek jou nie like nie.
12 o'clock, 1 o'clock tonight.
Okay. Any questions?
I'm gonna
Any?
make a test call from this phone here now. The phone, Quentin's cell phone. Walk away. If y'all come and hit redial, I'm not responsible.
Okay. Anything that you guys would like to ask that's not clear? Sorry about the e-cost. Yeah, we were hoping that Taran would be, yeah. Unfortunately,
I was waiting for that to go up, and then I was going to make a test call to show you all the e-cost was working. My phone equipment, so. But at the end of the day, it came in.
On-site
You guys
voice recording?
have done it.
no, the on-site voice recording. We record in the cloud, not on the same solution as what the hosted Freedom bundles are. That will be on the subserver side, and that username and password will be sent to the client themselves. I've never logged into that recorder before, so I can't give you any information on that. Okay. I don't do support on that end there. The guys from Voice and Data give support directly on that. Okay. I'll give whatever we presented here this weekend, I'll be able to support you besides the e-cost. But we can always, when on site, we can always figure it out and see. Okay.
Last question is called the e-cost for now.
I'm sure
Says Neil doesn't sell man 3000 anymore.
we sell decent products, so not Man 3000. Okay. Any questions? You guys happy? Okay.
Thank you.
Before we close up, any other questions? Anything at all?
I have something not related to this.
Any questions related to what we did?
So on Monday, argument's sake, you guys get an installation. You are able to follow through the installation and do everything. Take photos of the pole, the bracket, the cabinet, if you install a cabinet, the shelf. Send us all those photos.
The pole
Well-
that shall mount the LTE. We don't want to get any other poles, pictures in our...
Remember, you're sending them to ladies, eh? So, so you guys are happy. You. Once you get a job card to state this is a bundle that you'll be installing, that will be the picker sending you that, so you'll just reply back to her. Yeah. Haven't you guys done an install as yet? Okay.
Good luck.
Are those the only phones on the Freedom deal at the moment?
Yes.
You're not going to need like the iPhones, the iOS.
Remember something. An iPhone at the end of the day is an iPhone.
Yeah.
It'll still be
Okay.
configured for you.
Sorry, guys. This is. It might seem very, very tedious to explain this. This phone, when it comes in the box, comes with a little user guide. Please go through that user guide if you haven't worked on one of these phones before. Okay. The reason is these buttons, the transferring buttons, the conference buttons, all of them are not labeled. It's the new layout of Samsung. They don't label these buttons. If you're not sure what a button is without the user guide, push the button and see what happens. Okay, once you're on a call, push the button. Okay. For example, the transfer button is two handsets looking at each other. So you're going to press that button and then dial the extension number and you're going to put down the handset. I've had a guy do an install and he was dialing the conference button to transfer a call to the other side, and they couldn't understand. Every time they put this handset down, they disconnect the person on the opposite end. Okay. It carried on for about a week. And then the guy remembered, oh yeah, you can phone us for support. So we explained to him, please press the transfer button, not the conference button. Okay. So go through the guide that comes with the phone if you're not familiar with the setup. Also leave that guide with the client. So if the client forgets, they have a little guide to fall back onto.
Any service codes in that guide is
Sorry?
active. Any service codes in that guide is active.
Not necessarily. Some of them might be different because the service guide because it's a factory guide that's been created here. So some might be, some aren't.
Inform the customer, listen,
Yeah.
this is a guide.
Yes,
Some features are not the same in this guide.
that's it, yeah. Because it's different platforms that they've
Each country's got
developed.
specifications.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Die enigste rede hoekom ek en sien probleme met prentjies skryf is dat minder mense kan lees.
Okay, guys, anything else? I think we've had a long weekend. And I think everyone wants to go home.